What is going on, everybody? It is episode 301 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. On this Friday, I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and if you watched yesterday's show, you know it was incredible. It was a moment in time. If you haven't watched it, wait until this live stream is over and then go back and watch it.
Yes.
But now you know the party is not over. The week is not over. And we have a special guest in the studio.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi there, I'm Andrea Mew. I write for EV Magazine, and I also work for the Independent Women's Forum, but most importantly is I love chatting pop culture.
It's really funny. We were talking about it off air. I was saying that, I don't know if I'm the target demographic, but we use a lot of EV articles on this show.
Yeah.
Yes, we're EV stans.
Yes. What's the most recent thing you've written?
Oh, well, most recent thing that's been published or written, because the most recent thing I've written is actually an article all about how to not be offended at everything.
The money that just...
People need some advice.
Yes.
People need some advice on that,
See,
actually.
I almost wish there was it doesn't really fit our forum, but it would be fun to cover those as topics.
It would be.
Wouldn't
It's not political, it's just social commentary.
Yeah.
I find that fun.
But it would be hard to how do you name that segment in a way that works as the hook for an article. It doesn't work as well as the hook for a video.
I don't know.
You have to find a way
stop
to
being
name
offended
it.
by everything.
Hey guys, grow
Word
up.
it as a command.
Yeah. Hey guys, grow up. That's what it would be. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today on this chill Friday. It does feel like a chill, laid-back Friday. I'm even moving in my chair more than I already should. We're going to talk about Elizabeth Banks. She's a liar, okay? She's just a liar. She did this before. She did this over the summer. She's pretending that you and I are stupid, and you and I are not stupid. She is now pretending as if she's taking responsibility for the fact that Charlie's Angels, the awful movie that literally made $8 million in its opening weekend, that she took responsibility for its failure, which she did not. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Maddie Healy getting in deep, deep trouble on the internet again because he dared, what did he said that Harry Styles is queerbaiting.
Yeah. The Twitter gays are mad.
Yes, they're very upset. We're going to talk about that. And then there is an Idris Elba article. It's barely an article. He did an interview in which he talks about how he no longer identifies himself as a black actor. And I'm not ashamed to say that it reminded me so much of the way things used to be in Hollywood. I almost had a tear in my eye. It was very, very heartening to read this take from it. So we got that. And then also Balenciaga is attempting to repair their public image right before their next live show, which oddly enough to me, call me blackpilled, feels like it doesn't even matter because it doesn't feel like any damage was done to them. Would you guys agree? Does it feel like any damage was actually done to the brand?
At this point in time, probably not.
They'll
recover.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
It was memory hold very quickly.
Very quickly. So we got that, and we've got some other stuff. But before we get started, we've got Cringe of the Day. Mary, this Cringe of the Day is what I would describe as for the girls, both of them.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Tell us about it.
Well, are we going to show the video?
Yeah, we're gonna show first. We'll show the video of the boots. These things are ridiculous. Actually,
I like them. I want to wear these boots.
All right.
I think Yeezy is vindicated on the big boots trend.
Yeah. They're saying my mic sounds far away, guys.
Does mine as well? I feel like maybe my sound was a little bit off from yesterday. But
Hello.
let's see.
Any better?
Talking. Can you hear us well?
Is the echo still there?
It sounds better on my end. You sound less echoey to me.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
All right. So go ahead and describe these boots.
Wait, what?
We
need to show the video.
Yeah, okay.
Show the video first.
All right. Here we go. All right.
You guys go for a solid
the music might be copyrighted.
They look so cute. You look like a video game character.
You kind of look like you belong in Mickey's Toontown.
I love it. Toontown.
It does. It absolutely looks like that. So
I would wear those in Toontown and get in fights with people at Disney.
Guy, I'm just double checking one more time. Echo good. Sounds okay. Okay, people are saying it sounds okay. All right, we're just gonna go with it. We'll check it later. Hopefully, since I checked the audio earlier and it seemed like it was fine. So you'd wear those, Mary?
I would. Why wouldn't you?
Why would? First of all, like I'm very particular with boots. I don't like boots. To me, are more about the tongue of the boot than about the actual boot itself. Meaning that like the pants have to be able to fit behind the tongue. Otherwise, I hate it when they go over because it's about how much. Particular. It's about how much you have to cuff your pants for me. So.
Okay. I just love giant boots, so I don't know. I'm all about it. Maybe if they came in different colors.
They look really cute.
Not red. Not red.
Not red.
Black.
No red for me.
Black.
Black.
I want to wear rubber clothes, just like Polly Pocket.
Ooh.
All right. I'm gonna.
And then the next one.
The next one's even funnier.
The baguette.
Oh my goodness.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's perfect for holding your sandwich from Panera Bread.
The question, it'd be funny if you opened it up and there was like that wax paper that they used to wrap them in, and it's like lined with wax paper.
I mean, they didn't explicitly say this bag is made for you to carry your sandwich, but that's exactly how people interpreted it. And I went to the link and they're sold out already. Yeah. And I was surprised they didn't, like they were only $40. I was surprised they didn't like make them overpriced. I would have bought one.
And guys get nothing like this. We just get wallets that never fit.
You wouldn't want a Panera-themed wallet anyway.
No, I would not. No, I would not.
It said, as the experts in all things bread, Panera decided to step up to the plate to create a baguette bag designed in a way that it really should be. Stylish on the outside and perfect to pair with our toasted baguette.
I do like the color. I wouldn't wear that color, but it's perfect for the brand.
It's a unique color. I just, it would require me to eat up Panera Bread to be able to wear the bag.
Well, this was, wasn't there, remember when we were asking the question with Hannah Claire, is Noodles and Company a first date spot?
Well, it was Panera and Noodles and Company. What stage in a relationship do you have to be in before you go there for a date? You know?
It's not a date spot. It's someplace you go after Target. Am I right?
Yeah, that's rock bottom, frankly.
Rock bottom date? Mm-hmm. How far do you have to be into a relationship before you go to Noodles and Company?
Well, very far.
You've been dating for a while and you're actually running errands first. It's not even a date spot.
It's like you're okay with being embarrassed in front of this person.
I mean, even that's kind of elitist sounding. I'm just saying it's not supposed to sound like, that they're saying like it's like you're too good for it. They're just saying that like it's some place that you go together when you're already in a relationship. Like, no, it's not about being too good for Panera. It's just not a date spot. How about that?
Not as much romance.
I also saw your take that you dislike the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Oof. I do. I'm so sorry.
What is this about?
There's just something about Chick-fil-A that just doesn't do it for me.
Taste-wise?
Taste-wise, yeah.
I love their mac and cheese and their waffle fries.
I've heard great things about the mac and cheese. The waffle fries is what gets me, is because I grew up in Orange County, California, and so I'm used to In-N-Out fries. That's my like standard of fast food fry. So I don't know.
I do miss In-N-Out.
Mm-hmm.
That was.
You sound way better now.
Okay.
Am I echoey though?
No.
I feel like I hear my own echo more than I usually do.
Are people still talking about it?
No, they say it's fine, but I can hear my echo.
Okay. We'll check.
Is that from yesterday where Serge was like yelling at the...
It could be, or it could be just the fact that like maybe something got bumped underneath when we were cleaning all the money up. I don't know.
All right.
It seems fine to me though. So I do miss In-N-Out though. Like that was the staple of any time I went to California. I was that tourist who had to go to In-N-Out, as you do, as one does. I still don't like Five Guys though. I don't care about Five Guys.
Me neither.
Yeah, doesn't really do it for me. Mary, Five Guys? Overpriced. It's like $8 gazillion.
It's simply not worth the money.
You have to like take a loan out.
I'm not even into like burgers anyway, so whatever. I mean, the milkshake is also like $10.
See? Way overpriced. No. Who can afford that? No. I can't afford that. And with the price of eggs, everything's going to go up even higher.
They're saying Mary's mic is messed up. Mary's echoing.
Okay.
We're ratchet today, guys. Yesterday's show was so out of the ordinary. It was chaotic energy till the very last second and through the intro. Yeah. We had like 8-9 people in here, which is not normal for us. But I think it was worth it to have the moment with Serge getting shaved in the intro.
Yeah.
He was a good sport about it as well.
I'm not hearing any problems now, but I guess we just keep going. Like we could try to kill.
Well, now they're saying Mary is fine. Okay. All I know is I can hear my echo more, but as long as you guys can hear me well,
okay,
and I sound normal to you.
They say they're gaslighting.
They're gaslighting.
That's because I put gaslighting in the name of the episode today. So, all right, we're gonna keep going.
Okay.
But you guys, if the episode sucks now, it's your eyes' own fault. for doing this. It's not my fault. It's your fault for gaslighting. So see,
blaming the fans.
Elizabeth
Banks.
I gaslit them about being gaslit. So all right, we're moving on, guys. So
next, the Fast X.
No. I want to mention the Hogwarts stuff first. So Hogwarts Legacy is the is the number one single player game ever on Twitch with 1.28 million peak concurrent viewers just at launch. So how is that boycott working out for you guys?
Yeah, I think I saw that even Hassan Piker is not going to play it. Not because he said something like is morally wrong with playing Hogwarts Legacy. His take was just like, I'm going to get so much shit for playing Hogwarts Legacy that I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst thing, is to surrender and admit that you're surrendering just because people are going to, like, spam your chat or something.
Yeah.
What's the worst they can do? Like, what I thought the watch list was for...
Put you on a list?
What is the watch list for?
They got taken down. I guess that got
it got taken down. Yeah. But what was it for? Like,
so
was
that
it
you
for
would know
mass
who the
reporting?
Yeah, it was to know who the transphobes are.
Is it so you go to their streams and mass report them,
I
or
guess.
was it just so you conceive about the fact that they're playing a massively popular game?
Well, so that people can go back later and refer to the list, would be my guess.
Normal people don't know about J.K. Rowling's opinions.
No, they don't.
We're not normal.
No.
That's my point.
It's really funny too, because that's one of those things that it's a litmus test for just how somebody described it perfectly. They're like, people who care about this are the people who are terminally online. Like the people who live every moment of their life on the internet are the ones that care about stuff like this.
We have confirmation, by the way, from Carter that our sound is fine now.
Okay.
So I assume it's just a problem on our end.
He sent you a message.
Yeah.
All right. So not only is the boycott not going well, there is a new trailer for Fast X or Fast 10.
Which
I don't
one
know.
is it?
I'm calling it Fast X because it sounds cooler.
It does.
I got some thoughts. You guys should go watch the trailer when this is done. The first thing I thought of is he has Jason Momoa. He has all the tools. He has the look. He has the size. He's still impossible to buy as a bad guy. I don't buy him as a bad guy at all. Like, I look at him and he just looks like a kindly, like if you had a cool, kindly uncle.
You got a sense of what the story was from the trailer?
Well, he's the bad guy. I don't know if you watched the same trailer as I did, but like he's definitely the bad guy.
It's like almost 4 minutes long. And the entire time, I did not make sense of what this movie is about.
He's mad at Dom because it looked like he might have killed a member of his family during one of their outings, and so he's the bad guy. And then there's a point in here where he's kidnapped Dom's son, and it just looks fake because it looks like the kid just wants to hang out with Jason Momoa because Jason Momoa is cool, right?
Brie Larson being a girl boss, beating up multiple muscular men in a bar.
There's a very cringy line where she says game recognizes game to Brie Larson, which is basically just validate Brie Larson because they have to bring her in. It had Avengers Endgame, all the women lining up to fight Thanos vibes to me.
Gal Gadot is back.
Yeah. Was she?
Yeah.
Was she? Okay, yeah. And then
Gal Gadot is set to reprise her role as Giselle Yashar.
I didn't see her in the trailer. Did I miss her?
That's weird. Maybe.
Did I miss her in the trailer? Also, they did have Han show up with Shaw, which is funny because that doesn't actually make sense considering that Shaw and Han are from the previous movies, and even though Han's not dead, it would be hilarious to have Han and Shaw make their own spin-off, not Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know if either of you saw Hobbs and Shaw with The Rock and Jason Statham.
I did not.
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You guys need to watch it.
Okay, Carter says, Brett, you should turn your gain down just a little bit.
Yeah.
But thank you for your help, Carter.
We
needed someone who wasn't gaslighting us.
We got one person who pointed out that Jason Momoa was a bad guy in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but now I just don't buy it. Like he's just done too much since then. He's just maybe it's too many public interviews. Like he's just too nice of a person. It's kind of like I don't like Johnny Depp as a bad guy either. I just think of him as Captain Jack Sparrow, or as
or like if Keanu Reeves was ever to play a bad guy.
Well, that's it. Some actors can pull it off. Keanu Reeves is kind of he's now he's John Wick, which isn't necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, but he just is what he is. But I do recommend checking this trailer out. There's barely any Alan Ritchson in it, and he's even bigger than Jason Momoa, if not the same exact size. So we'll see where it goes. It has the same feeling of family. Also, there's something that I thought was really interesting. So it's got the very first shot in it is of Rita Moreno, right? So you see Rita Moreno, and what you realize is what this movie did is it was always an extremely diverse cast, but they hire really good actors, so you don't think of it as diversity hires. You just think of it as people that are really good at their job, doing their job. It fits very naturally in this world.
Sure, that's ideal, obviously.
Yeah. Now they're saying I sound like I'm stuck down a well.
Great.
Guys,
what's going on today? Are you wearing an unlucky hat?
I'm not wearing an unlucky hat.
I think
Carter,
I
how could you do this to us? Yeah. Carter gave us bad sound advice. All he said was Brett needs to put his gain down a little bit.
Which I did.
But then
look,
maybe put it back where it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need to make sure we solve this problem before we actually get into the topics for today.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we kill the stream and start over and do.
Is it that bad, guys?
No, someone's saying the mics are fine.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're ruining the show by doing this, so I'm going to ignore them.
Someone said he's having an off Monday.
You know what? Let's just move on. I'm just going to ignore it. If the show's bad, guys, this is your own fault. You've done it to yourselves. We're getting started. So, by the way, no, actually, I want to mention one more thing. Christian Bale. Christian Bale is rumored to be coming back as Batman, which is very, very funny. They're talking about him possibly coming back as in The Brave and the Bold and having Ben Affleck direct him, which would be really, really funny. Yeah. So, all right.
Carter. Okay, now Carter is saying it sounds good now. Ignore it. So we're ignoring it.
All right. It is what it is. This isn't my fault. I am gaslighting everyone else. I'm blaming them now. It's not my fault. It's their fault.
I'll take the blame for this one. It's all me.
All right. All right, guys. So this is an article from MovieWeb, and it says Elizabeth Banks takes full responsibility for Charlie's Angels reboot failing. You said this isn't gaslighting?
Oh, no, I was just making a joke about how so many people use the term gaslighting. It's funny to actually see it being used for real gaslighting.
So they're lying. She blamed literally everyone but herself. She blamed men for not going to see the movie. She blamed the studio, and she blamed the marketing department. She blamed literally everyone but herself when this movie came out. But it is kind of like maybe Hollywood's getting back to the old days where they're like, a little bit of humility goes a long way in like the marketing push. And I think this is directly related to the fact that Cocaine Bear is coming out.
Yeah, I've seen all of these stupid headlines that are like, Elizabeth Banks is putting her entire career on the line to put out Cocaine Bear, and this could be the end of her as a director.
Yeah, right.
Which is, of course, BS, and it's the first Elizabeth Banks movie that people have been excited about in years, and it's the thing that could actually save her reputation after Charlie's Angels was such garbage.
Kind of like Will Smith, like he should have done Bad Boys for Life, or the new Bad Boys movie after the slap incident, not the slave movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, do what you're best at instead of being preachy.
And I'm ending the poll here, so I put up a poll. I said, what will be Elizabeth Banks' best movie when it's all said and done? I should have clarified better. I meant of ones that she's directed. Right, not ones that she's been in. So, Cocaine Bear wins with 62%, even though it's not out yet. It's not even out yet. So, but Pitch Perfect came in second with 27%.
I think in spite of Cocaine Bear, voted Pitch Perfect just to be a wild card.
And then some contrarian voted for Charlie's Angels, so good for them. Like as the resident contrarian.
I mean, maybe some people liked it, but maybe it's true that this was marketed wrong.
Right? Cocaine Bear or Charlie's Angels?
Charlie's Angels.
No, it was going to. I don't even think of it. There was no way to market it the way they should have, because marketing it towards men, then men would have gone to the movie and hated it. And she, even if they did market it towards men, she didn't. Meaning that she said it's a feminist film, it's for diverse women, and blah 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 wah, as you were doing in 2018 and 2019. And it runs contrary to the way things were going in Hollywood at that time. We had Terminator, Dark Fate come out at the same time, Trauma, all that stuff happened right around that same time. All of it a failure.
Yeah, a lot of people blame COVID for the fact that movies have gotten so much worse, but it was already on this trajectory beforehand.
This was her original quote. She says, "Look, people have to buy tickets to this movie too," she said in her interview. "This movie has to make money. If this movie doesn't make money, it reinforces the stereotype in in Hollywood that men don't go see women do action movies. In regards to female superheroes, Banks added, they'll go see a comic book movie with Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel because that's a male genre. So even though these movies are about women, they put them in the context of feeding the larger comic book world. So it's all about, yes, you're watching a Wonder Woman movie, but we're setting up 3 other characters, or we're setting up the Justice League. Do you actually believe that she's accurate here?
I don't believe the whole thing that men actually don't want to see a movie because of women in it. I think people just don't want to see another reboot. People are so fatigued with reboots.
Well, not just that. It's from a series, Charlie's Angels, which is antithetical to the way feminism is displayed now. Mm-hmm. Meaning that Charlie's Angels was light fun and embraced the femininity and sexuality of the characters, which will not happen nowadays with a movie like Charlie's Angels, because it has to be a rebuke of all of those ideas.
They have to be like asexual automatons.
Or if they do have any sexuality at all, it's used to spite the men in the scene and then laugh at them.
Yeah.
Like, look how weak you are for liking the way I look.
Is it worth watching this movie? I haven't seen the
movie. No, it's not. It's not. I made it through about...
Did you see it in theaters?
I made it through about 20 minutes of it at home. The opening scene...
You gave up that quickly?
Yes. The opening scene...
What if it was going to recover?
It does not recover.
How do you know, though?
Because
you didn't give it a chance.
I don't need to. Like, you don't do that bad. Like, okay, usually a movie will start good and get bad in the middle. You're supposed to start strong, right? This movie didn't start strong. It started horrible.
Okay, so...
Kristen Stewart seduces the guy in the hotel room. It's horrible.
I mean, she would say, like, you didn't give it enough of a chance, therefore you're being sexist.
It is my constitutional right, it's my God-given right as an American citizen to tell Elizabeth Banks to go to hell. I do not have to go see this movie.
I can tell you, by the way, that I liked the Ghostbusters feminist remake, that I wouldn't like this Charlie's Angels remake, just based on principle alone.
You did like the 2016 Ghostbusters movie?
No, absolutely not.
I was like, wow, bold. No. Like that's bigger than Wesley admitting that he likes The Last Jedi here.
Yeah.
I only made it through that movie because I had 1 beer in my system and was very underage, so that hit so hard.
It was enough to like dull it as you went through the whole process of watching it. Yeah, it happens. Look, I hate the gaslighting. I hate but it's also, you kind of understand because this is what Hollywood does when a new movie's coming out. But I think she would have been better off just focusing on the fact that the new movie sounds cool, not that her past movie was bad and she claims to have taken responsibility for it. Here's her quote. She says, "I took full responsibility for Charlie's Angels. Certainly no one else did. It was all laid on me and I happily accepted it because what else am I supposed to do?" No, that's not really what happened. What happened was everyone laid it at your feet and you tried to push the blame off on other people. It just didn't work. And I think it is important for a director to own up to it when the movie doesn't do well. I miss that era of Hollywood. Like when they said, look, we missed something on the drawing board, something didn't work, we'll try to do better next time. You win a lot more goodwill that way.
The only marketing I remember for Charlie's Angels in 2019 was this music video that Lana Del Rey and Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande put out for like the soundtrack. What was it called? Like, Don't Call Me Angel. And even right off the bat, it's like hostile.
Even the song name is hostile.
Or the listener, right? Like, I don't know. I also am not a fan of the original Charlie's Angels. I'm not familiar with it. It's not my generation. So you're using old material to appeal to a new audience that is not familiar with it.
Yeah.
And then you're using musicians who don't appeal to that specific target audience to try to sell it.
I just don't know who they're making these movies for anymore. I feel lost.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're necessarily made for anyone in particular. Like we were talking the other day about Buffy, and I was talking about how they didn't necessarily always, they did not necessarily always market towards genders. They would market towards age ranges. So 18 to 49, a lot of TV was 18 to 49-year-old men. I would argue now that a majority of things are marketed to women, and I think the argument has always been that even in a married household, the woman controls the pocketbook, so you always market to women because it's you reach more people that way.
And also just has the system has been for a long time. I know things have changed now, but like stay-at-home moms were the ones who are watching TV throughout the day. They have to put something on in the background while they're watching their
soap
kids.
operas still do so well.
True.
Like soap operas haven't changed, at least as far as I know. Like I look at soap operas and they're all on like episode 9 million, and they've all been on air for like the soap opera actors. Like Mary, we talk sometimes about blue collar actors in Hollywood being television. Soap opera actors do like thousands upon thousands of episodes every, like they do like a
you gotta respect the grind.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I love this tweet from Elizabeth Banks where she doubled down originally.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a flop, make sure your name is on it at least 4 times. I'm proud of Charlie's Angels and happy it's in the world. And then she said this about women in Hollywood. We're in charge of Hollywood. We're the stars. We can do it. We have to take control of this. And I feel like I'm part of a new... Wait, what is this? I'm part of a new clash that feels the same way.
Class, maybe?
Class that feels the same way.
You know what
like,
they say,
it's our time now.
If you have to say it, it's not true.
She acts like, as a woman, she isn't allowed to direct movies.
I know.
And then her choice is Cocaine Bear, of all things.
Well, that's all. See, I think that's a good choice. Get away from the feminist narrative. That's the thing, though. Okay, we talked about. We're going to talk later about Idris Elba, but the thing is what they're doing is they cast women as directors in Hollywood. Meaning, you don't get to direct a movie. You get to direct a movie about women. You can direct movies about feminism. You can direct movies about women or about women's issues. But are they allowed to direct the Cocaine Bears of the world? That's what they need to...
Well,
we need to stop hiring them just to do movies about women. If you hire based on merit, they should be able to do a movie based on anything.
This looks like Elizabeth Banks is trying to correct course while not admitting fault.
No, exactly.
And maybe she's right that admitting fault would, put more of a damper on her career than just...
I don't think so.
Acting like it never happened.
I don't think so. I think... owning up for what you did, like people have short memories. Like if you make one good movie after that one flops, people will forgive you. Like I do believe that. Like I don't think that our memories are so long that actually let me rephrase that. So if you don't take responsibility for your actions and you make a good movie after that, then people might be okay with the movie, but they might still have a problem with you. But if you show a little humility and then make a really good movie, you've readjusted your trajectory and you're back on a good path again.
This is like when James Cameron addressed Terminator Dark Fate. He said they miscalculated the age of the audience that would be interested in seeing a movie like that, because obviously the times have changed, the cultural milestones have changed, and maybe teenagers and people in their 20s and 30s, maybe in their 30s would be interested, but in their 20s not.
Yeah. Well, they also think that just being woman is enough to sell a product, and it's not.
If James Cameron, in all of his big ego, can admit that he made a mistake, I mean, he has one of the biggest egos in the industry. If he can admit a mistake, then Elizabeth Banks surely should be able to. Then
the feminist argument here would be like, or like what we talked about yesterday, where they say like, well, it's because the culture of men are allowed to make mistakes and come back, but if a woman screws up, she never gets another chance again. Except that's not true either.
Not true, because she's taking advantage of her second.
Well, Hollywood, you fail upward
now.
anyways. Like you fail upward as directors anyways. Their movies don't make money and they still get the next big job, so it doesn't even matter.
And even just, I mean, you see it like if a school teacher, a male school teacher does something wrong to a young female student, he's absolutely canceled and rightfully so. But if a female school teacher does something to a young male student, people don't talk about it.
They soften the language. When a guy does it, it's R word. When a girl does it, it's sexual misconduct.
Correct.
They never use the same language for both of them. That one always bothers me.
I love this story.
But to be fair, it's guys' own fault for going in the comments section going, where were these teachers when I was in school? Like, those comments immediately come in.
Elizabeth Banks reportedly asked to direct Thor Ragnarok, and Marvel never replied. She got ghosted.
They left Elizabeth Banks left on red. That will be the name of her documentary about how she wanted to make a Marvel movie and they wouldn't let her.
One person tweeted, the only thing Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels got right was that it was a return to the unapologetically girly action hero shenanigans, like Sailor Moon, Nancy Drew.
Girly in the sense that they dressed like women, not girly in the sense that they were in any way. They were it's mean-spirited the whole way down the line.
It's all about the dressings of being a woman, but not the reality.
Also, funny thing is what she should have done, if Elizabeth Banks was smart, she shouldn't have wanted to direct Thor Ragnarok. She should have wanted to direct Scarlet Witch. Or anything like that. Because you're a woman, get it? You're only allowed to direct women characters if you're a woman in Hollywood. How would you know anything else? And that's Hollywood's own fault anyways, because they push the narrative that you have to have lived the exact same life as the characters you're writing and directing. Otherwise, how could you possibly understand the nuance of this superhero character which you are not actually like anyways?
Well, people in Hollywood think, yes, you have to share the exact same experience as the characters you're portraying. That's why they make so many movies about like pedophiles and incest.
Yeah, of course. They love it.
Okay, so what was that? What was the weird incest movie that Elizabeth Banks did with Chris Pine?
I don't know.
People are saying she did a weird incest movie.
Ask them what it was called.
Chris Pine.
I didn't see it. Whatever it is, I didn't see it.
All I know is she has a very diverse filmography at this point.
Yeah. Well, she's acted in a whole ton of stuff. Like whether we're talking Pitch Perfect, whether we're talking Hunger Games, Brightburn. Did either of you see
People Like Us?
People Like Us? Is that what it's called? No? There it is. That's Hollywood for you. All right.
Weird.
Let's get to some super chats because we got a bunch of them piling up. They're probably going to be talking about our audio.
Oh, okay. Well, let us know, guys. Brandon M. said, happy 300. I would have sent this yesterday, but I would never degrade Mary like that. Now that I've proven my worth as an ally, peasant soy boy simp, will you love me? Journalists taught me this.
Yeah, what happens is if you debase yourself to the lowest level of humanity as a guy, women find that really attractive. That's what I've heard.
10 out of 10 works every time.
Every time. See, no, we joke, but that's literally what Hollywood has been doing on a smaller scale for like the last 20 years. Like the pushing of the nice guy character in Hollywood has probably done more damage. And that's not me saying that guys should not be nice people, but I'm saying the idea that like you can just sit in the background and like passive aggressively pine for a girl and she will then eventually
aggressively.
That's what it is, right? The guys, they're not good people.
Yeah.
They're like they're out there like he's not going to love you the way I do. That's been pervasive in Hollywood for decades, and it's taught whole generations of dudes to not. It's like they never were taught how to be assertive because they were raised by television and not by their parents, and television never taught them how to be assertive because being assertive in any way, shape, or form is going to be portrayed as forceful.
Big Dave sent us $1 without a message. Thank you.
Thank you, Big Dave.
X said, "Where's Tim today? No news, tweets, no posts."
Taking the day off.
Yeah, I don't know. Caper2X said, "So sad. After the 15 crisis parties yesterday, I ought to have suggested that Mary squeaked the Marines hymn. My bad. It's too late now."
Yeah, no. How were you feeling last night? I thought about like sending you a text at night. Like, you're okay, right? The helium didn't do you in?
Yeah, I felt fine.
Okay,
I think
good.
that they like skimped out on the helium actually, since the one that I let fly to the ceiling yesterday is already on the floor.
Oh yeah, we got screwed.
They ripped me off.
We should get our money back.
Definitely. Caper2X said, "Those look like Astro Boy boots."
Perfect.
Ooh.
Did Travis Scott make Astro Boy boots? Let me look this up.
Look it up.
Let's see.
There's an actor named Astro. I think he goes by his real name now, but he was a young
Wait,
kid.
does Travis Scott own Mischief?
Maybe.
I don't really know. But it looks like okay, now I see what it was inspired by. Yeah.
Yeezys, watch out. I saw Adidas is taking a dip.
Yeah, they like lost $1 billion because they can't sell off old Yeezys.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe what they should do a collaboration with Alex Jones and see if Alex Jones can sell them. Like,
he's good at selling things.
It's what he's good at.
Cardio Bro said, "Mary sounds perfect, but Brent sounds similar to the PragerU outro you have on your segment videos." Damn, okay.
Okay.
Tell us how you really feel. Yeah. KMF Opposer said, "In the military, we had extreme cold weather boots that looked a little like those. We called them Mickey Mouse boots, or Mickeys for short."
I'm telling you, they're in Toontown.
Look, tell me where to cop them, and I will. Dumbledore said, "A place to go in a relationship, divorce court."
Perfect.
Jeez, we were just talking about divorce parties as well before the show. Seven Redding said, dude slips on the boots and turns into Astro Bro.
I'm telling you, I was just watching A Walk Among the Tombstones with Liam Neeson. There's a child actor in it named Astro. I think he goes by his real name now, but he also did an episode early on in Person of Interest, and I just remember I was watching the credits and I was like, who the hell's name is Astro? But kid's really, really good. I think he only acted for a little bit. I think he went into music full time.
Okay. BMF Nate Dogg said, I'm playing Hogwarts right now.
Excellent. Well, you're sticking it to the libs by doing that.
Let us know if you're playing Hogwarts Legacy while listening to Pop Culture
And my
Crisis.
hope is that if you're playing it, it's because you actually want to play it and you're not just doing it because a bunch of people told you that you shouldn't. I think that's a bad reason to play anything.
I'm just impressed you can multitask like that.
Yeah, right? I can't multitask at all.
Creative Juice said, appreciate the segment on Melanie Linsky's unhinged attack of Adrienne Curry. Mary, you reading her tweets on Helium made my day. Thanks for being the lone light in the sea of pop culture darkness.
Well, we like to keep things fun and light here. Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back.
Okay.
All right.
This next topic is one of my favorites because I love when the gays on Twitter just cannibalize themselves and start eating their own. It's my favorite thing when effeminate straight men get called out for queerbaiting. But now...
They're not any worse than, Marvel doing it with their movies.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, you were talking about Thor earlier. Remember, Thor Love and Thunder got accused of it hardcore.
Did it?
Yeah, oh yeah. There was all sorts of articles written about it. Because,
they had outright gayness, though.
Yeah, but they was
queer
referred to as queerbaiting early on before the movie came out. They said they better not be queerbaiting us.
For the characters that were gay or for Thor?
Even before Korg, but for the other characters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Korg and his lava baby. I'll never forget. But I just wanted to start this topic by looking at these new paparazzi photos of John Cena. Because it really sets the tone for what we're talking about, which is the ritualistic humiliation
it does
of masculine men.
There's no way that he wanted to do this. He's not saying look at me, I'm such a gifted actor. I'll do I can slip into any role.
Although we don't know what he secretly likes and doesn't like.
Fair.
So scroll through these pictures here and tell me that he looks like he wants to be there. He looks miserable. Look at his face. Come on. So he's doing this for a role in a comedy that...
I mean, this one looks like he acknowledges that he knows he looks stupid.
Okay, but this looks like a Chinese humiliation ritual.
He's like, I told China that Taiwan was a country and now I gotta pay for it. That's what's happening right here.
And he was walking around like this as well in drag makeup the other day alongside his wife. How does she feel about this?
Hey, as long as it keeps the bills coming in.
The money is there, so it doesn't matter.
He's playing a character named Ricky Stenicki, but I don't think there's a title for the movie out yet. This is him in Melbourne. But anyway, here's the gist of the story today. Basically, Matty Healy, the lead singer of the 1975...
I literally had never even thought about the 1975 until we started covering them here, but it's always about Matty Healy. It's never about.
There are a lot of things you never thought about before covering them on Pop Culture.
Definitely not Matty Healy.
The lead singer of 1975 went on the Adam Friedland podcast, and if you don't know who that is, he's just some dirtbag left character. That's literally what it's called. It's dirtbag left. So they're the edgy leftists who are subversive, and they're allowed to make offensive jokes. So he went on this podcast, and it was very controversial. He called out Harry Styles for queerbaiting. He said, basically, Harry Styles gets the equivalent of an N-word pass among the gay community, being able to prance around in dresses and nail polish and makeup.
But doesn't that stereotyping them?
Not identify as gay.
Isn't that a huge stereotype of them, though? To the community? To say that that's how they all dress?
We'll get into it, but first let's play this clip from Matty Healy on the podcast, and we'll see if you guys think it's as homophobic and sexist and racist as everyone else does.
You see that Adam Pink's getting cancelled for looking like a lesbian for her career, and now that's being regarded as queerbaiting. So loads of 18-years-olds being she's done irreparable damage.
He's the British one,
Why
by
they
the
let
way,
Harry Styles do that?
Why do they let him? He gets a pass. I don't know.
He's like basically has the N-word pass from the gay community.
Yeah. I actually don't think the gays really like it. I think it's like young girls that think it's a new thing that are like, oh my god, and then actually
gay men,
people are like,
gay men don't have a problem with somebody pretending to be gay. They just jack off to it. Only lesbians would be like, you're not actually a lesbian.
Yeah, exactly. Like true gay guys just find out.
Yeah, any gay man that sees a straight man prancing around in like skimpy clothes, being like, ooh, who wants to fuck my ass? Or like, me.
Yeah, come over here and let
it's
me
even
fuck your
even
ass.
better that I know that you're straight.
Yeah. Maybe it's not all gay guys, but a lot of them.
It's all of them.
Yeah.
It's all gay guys. We speak on behalf of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a Lorax.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so then in this article it says Maddie half-heartedly attempted to push back, saying maybe it's not all gay guys, but a lot of them. And you can tell from just the cadence of this conversation that these guys are like kind of edgelords.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're very clearly trying to push the boundaries.
But I
Trying to be
think that,
provocative.
Maddie Healy actually is a clever artist and clever lyricist, and we've talked about him before. He does performance art on stage, basically. Like on his recent tour, he's been eating raw meat, doing push-ups in front of TVs that are playing Ben Shapiro videos. And, this is up to your interpretation what he means by this. But what he says before he does those push-ups is like, I don't know how to be a liberal man anymore, so I stopped trying. That's what he says.
Good for him. I'm all about that.
But then other people who want him to still be woke are saying like, no, he's doing this to make fun of toxic masculinity. He's still the perfect male feminist hero. So no one can make their minds up about like what this art actually means, which according to some is the point of art, right? So that people can argue about it and you don't have to explain.
That's actually kind of perfect, right? Like, I mean, that kind of happens to us sometimes when we're doing segments and like we talk about things and sometimes it's just like I don't verbalize what I'm saying as well as I'd like and people like argue, like they're getting the complete wrong point of what I was making.
Sometimes it's just not worth it to explain yourself.
Exactly. Most of the time it's not worth it to explain yourself.
And like Twitter gays of all people are going to assume the worst no matter what you do. So people were very angry about Maddie Healy's comments, and I've pulled up some tweets in reaction to his appearance. They were mad that he talked to Adam Friedland at all, and like I couldn't care less about Adam Friedland. I just think it's funny when they get angry about these things. One person said, y'all are freaking out about Maddie Healy talking about Harry Styles, but ignoring how everything on that podcast was horrendous.
Everything I heard from that little clip was clearly edgelord behavior. People who are like, oh my god, I'm going to be
Well, sure, that's like edgelording, but you wouldn't call it all of the ists and phobes, right?
I wouldn't, but I think
wouldn't.
I wouldn't, but I think we have more nuance than
they
a
said
lot of people.
who gives an F he talked about Harry Styles when he was homophobic, racist, and misogynistic. Another tweet said Harry Styles the queer baiter versus Maddie Healy the feminist baiter. So they think they're both playing a nefarious game.
So, I mean, what it actually says to me is that as much as these groups talk about how they're marginalized, everyone's like literally reaching out to them. So how are you marginalized if everyone is trying to goad you into following them or use you as like some type of cash cow? Like Disney or all these Fortune 500 companies that suddenly change their logos in June.
Right.
It's like
we're in Black History Month.
Yeah. Well,
which we're in right now.
So it's like, is it really are you really all that oppressed if everyone wants to market to you?
Right. I think if there's just one exception of a celebrity that doesn't kowtow to them and pander to them, then they throw a tantrum every time. I find it hilarious. Yep. Another thing I remembered is that Maddie Healy did a music video years ago, I think in like 2016. It was called Love Me, and it's just about vapid celebrities who live off of the validation they get from the press and from fandom. And he pranced around in that music video with a life-size cardboard cutout of Harry Styles.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I saw the picture of it.
He was taking shots at him all these years ago.
But it was like young Harry
new.
Styles. It was like like old Harry. Like,
and something weird about Harry Styles' pivot to looking androgynous or girly. He's always been girly. Yeah. Since One Direction.
He was the pretty boy.
He was the pretty boy. So how is this rebelling against his past when he's always been like a pansy? You're just doubling down on being a pansy?
So it would have been different if he had like gotten himself a Harley and gotten
I like the idea that they've just like had beef for years. Yeah. So I saw this other story from back in January this year. Matty Healy revealed that he invited Harry Styles to perform at one of his concerts, and he got back a firm no. So,
I like that he didn't. At least he didn't get left on red like Elizabeth Banks. Ooh. Oh, got him.
And I just want to talk about is Harry Styles queer baiting? And if he is, can you really blame him?
It feels like a grift to me because, I mean, he went from having a fan base when he was in One Direction that was mainly teenage girls. Yeah. And as those teenage girls have grown up, he's wanted to find a new niche. And what's selling right now is being androgynous, is being, pushing the envelope a little bit with your gender identity.
Wouldn't it genuinely push the envelope to be more masculine, though?
No, because pushing the envelope is only applicable there if you push the envelope in the way they want you to push the envelope.
Look at John Krasinski. Yeah. He's leaned into a masculine archetype, and he, appears as, a masculine man.
Kind of. I mean, does Jack Ryan really count as I guess, yeah.
Does it not?
I don't really think of him that way. I think actually, if anything, I think of him as just kind of a pretty boy who's at the edge of
You think John Krasinski is a pretty boy?
Let me rephrase that.
It's a bit of a hot take.
In a world where Chris Pratt is what passes for an action star physically now, yeah. I think that's he's by that meaning he's just a normal dude. He looks like a dad. He looks like a dad that you'd see at a suburban soccer game. Yeah, he's that's what passes for action hero now because the Arnolds of the world don't make it in Hollywood the way they used to. You have your Dave Bautistas, you have your Alan Richsons, and those are the outliers of what's allowed to be masculine these days. And even Dave Bautista has gone to great lengths to expand beyond the portfolio of just looking like a big buff wrestler dude. Like you said, he did Knock at the Cabin, and I thought he was a legitimately good actor in that, even if I didn't like the movie all that much. You don't have the traditional Hollywood celebrity, or the traditional Hollywood action star like you did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So if that's if we have Tom Cruise, who's 5'6", and we have John Krasinski, who looks like he's looks like a soccer dad, like that's your action heroes now. That's the best you can do. That's fine.
Hugh Jackman.
You have even then but I'm still saying they're not the Stallones or the Swartz the Arnies of the past. So it is what it is, but I don't look at John Krasinski and think tough.
It's a different game when you're a musician rather than actor as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you're just playing one role and it's just you.
Yeah, and because that's more of an art form than your own personal identity that's coming out through your music instead of you playing a part.
Even then, the music is so manufactured. It's not like anyone thinks that Harry Styles has some great insight into the music he's creating.
Harry Styles.
He's a product.
Think about watermelon sugar.
He's a product that's being packaged and sold to you.
Yeah, I just think of him dressed up as the fairy godmother, throwing sprinkles everywhere and singing about watermelon sugar.
Yep. Well, even what you said earlier about you said he did an interview where he's like, yeah, I don't think that much about my sexuality. I'm like, that's a lie.
Well, yeah. Here's what he said when he was asked if he is bisexual. A fair question. He said, "It's not like I'm sitting on an answer and protecting it or holding it back. I'm not. It's not a case of I'm not telling you because I don't want to tell you." He said, "Who cares?" Does that make sense? He's just who cares?
He's lying. There are whole boardrooms that have spent time figuring out what his sexuality is going to be marketed as.
This is the most ironic part. He said, "Am I sprinkling in nuggets of sexual ambiguity to try and be more interesting? No."
He's just lying. Why are they
Harry
all liars?
Styles, that is exactly what you're doing.
They're all just liars. They're just bad people. They're celebrities, they're bad people.
I don't know. I just think sexuality is something that's fun.
Oh my God.
Honestly,
I
can't say I've given it any more thought than that.
It's all fun in games until it starts getting pushed on our children, though.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. You do not dress the way he dresses and say that you don't put thought into it. It ties directly to it. It ties directly to that if you're a straight dude. Like a guy who chooses his clothes, even if he's not somebody who thinks heavily about fashion, thinks about at least a little about what that says about him.
Thank you.
I kept it. One more for 300.
Thank you, guys.
What? I can't hear you.
We're gonna have to wait. We're gonna have to wait for this to be over. Okay. I liked your point about him leaving One Direction, not leaving, but One Direction fell out. And then you need to find your shtick that makes you marketable still when you're not part of a boy band.
Yeah.
And his happened to be dressing like a pretty boy, and
could have gone the Bieber route and just become like a
bad person for a while.
Yeah, like just pee in mop buckets. That's what I'm all for it. Let's go.
I mean, they're all doing that. They're all doing that same grift. Like Louis Tomlinson just announced that they're like releasing a documentary about him that he's producing.
What?
I know. It's like who is interested in a documentary about Louis Tomlinson in 2023?
I wasn't a stan to begin with, but
also you shouldn't be allowed to produce your own documentary if you're still alive.
Or your own biopic.
Definitely
cough, Madonna.
Definitely not.
Tell that to the Harry and Megans of the world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you feel about that?
Harry and Meghan, my goodness.
Did you watch it?
No, I try to turn a blind eye to that sort of stuff and not give them my dollars.
Yeah.
But no, I've never been a fan of Harry or Meghan, especially.
British people are just like weird to me, and that's why I never liked One Direction.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't get the appeal. They're British, so I'm supposed to like them.
Do you like the Beatles?
No.
Thank God.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, I get that that's like the take now. It's like, oh, the Beatles are overrated, but I mean, they were though.
They were. And hey, when they disbanded of sorts, I mean, John Lennon went the hippie route, so
yeah, you gotta like pick your
aesthetic. Yeah.
And I wanted to address what Harry Styles said at the Grammys again, just because I can't get over it. He accepted his award for Album of the Year, and he said, "This doesn't happen to people like me very often."
What does that even mean?
Good question.
What the hell does that mean?
Like, I hope someone eventually asks him, what did you mean when you said this? Because does he mean gay people? Like, but you're not willing to adopt the label of gay.
But is it like, does he mean people who have entire marketing departments designed to figure out whether their sexuality is marketable to people yet?
This even pissed off the SJWs because they're like, you're a white male, of course this happens for you all the time. You can't claim our oppression. So it's like, it's pissing off literally everyone and doesn't make him more marketable, in my opinion. Like, it's a losing game.
Are there actually people that like Harry Styles that aren't is his audience still teenage girls that just grew up?
I think a lot of girls in their 20s hung on though.
That's what I'm saying. He's like the comic book industry that's looking to find the phantom audience. He needs the phantom audience. This is Hollywood's fault for pushing the lie that LGBTQIA numbers are higher than they are. According to television, 75% of your workplace is gay. At least if you work in an office of 7 people, 3 of them will be Muslim. All of them will be gay. And
that's not even true if you live in San Francisco.
75% will be gay, and then there will be one straight dude there, no matter where you are, and he will be really bad at his job and a dick. Like, that's according to Hollywood. Like, I've gotten messages from people when I post like trailers and stuff who live out of the country, like people who don't know any of this stuff is going on, like people that follow me on Instagram, so they're mostly following me through skating stuff, and they're like, dude, if I took, they're like, I would have assumed that America was 80%, was 70% black and 70% gay.
Yeah.
Take a look at any commercial and just. I mean,
those are my favorite.
That's why people assume that all Americans are fat as well.
Yeah.
Because it's being amplified in our advertisements as well. Like.
I mean that's been going on for a long time. Like the first time I went to Europe, they were just shocked I wasn't fat. The people I met there were like literally shocked that I wasn't fat.
It really just depends on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
Because where I'm from, the standard is that no one is fat. But when I would visit my sister who went to college in the Midwest, I felt like a twig walking around.
Yep.
It just depends.
Depends on where you go.
Yeah. So do you guys agree with Maddie Healy? Like, is Harry Styles guilty of queer baiting? And
I would say,
is that the equivalent of the N-word pass for the gay community?
First of all, that assumes that everyone.
Exaggeration.
Yeah. First of all, that assumes that everyone thinks the same in their group, which is extremely insulting to them. But also, it's like, I don't even want to blame him. I just want to blame whoever his PR firm is and whoever the people are that are marketing him. Like, he is not his own person anymore. Like, for a lot of these celebrities, they don't have any actual autonomy. Like he doesn't get to make a lot of decisions, I bet, on stuff like this. Like when he goes out and wears something, he thinks about it. At the very least, he thinks about it. At most, he has a stylist that helps him get dressed.
True.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's not only that he dresses androgynously, but it's that specifically it creeps me out that he dresses up like a little girl would dress.
And it makes me feel better that I get to wear sweatpants to work every day. I don't have to.
That's true. We don't have a dress code here.
Yeah, I don't have. Well, and I don't have to wear like in the old Cast Castle vlog, like the comment section would call me H&M because of my long shirts. Like I'm fine with like being labeled by my clothing because it's me. It would be some type of hell if you had to dress. Like imagine he doesn't like doing that, but it's just the money's too good. That would be a specific type of hell to me to have to completely change something as base level as like how you dress and look in your everyday life, not just like when you go to work.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Well, I had this question before we started, and I'm gonna ask it later about like, would you let Kanye West pick your clothes for you? I don't think would you let someone else take the control?
I don't know if it would be Kanye.
Would you wear tight leather pants and then go eat Italian food with him?
No.
Sounds uncomfortable.
No.
I mean, can I just wear tight pants? Because my pants are tight anyways. So
leather pants?
Not
I don't
leather.
know if that's the vibe
I'm not doing leather.
For.
I'm not doing leather or pleather.
But anyway, there's your debriefing on 9/11 for 2014 Tumblr users.
Somebody, Shimmy Shelley in the chat says, yes, Brett. Yes, why the long shirts, Brett? Stop hiding that behind. So yes, I'm hiding my behind.
They want to see it.
Yes.
So maybe you should do the tight leather pants.
Yeah.
See, the problem
it's a vibe.
They would rip. I don't want the pants to rip. Like also like I was wearing tight pants before guys could get tight pants, so it became revolutionary when you were finally able to get tight pants that were actually made for men, rather than ones that had to be like I used to have all my pants brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having the struggle of finding jeans.
It's not easy. Like for me, I found there's a brand called Plaids and Plain that do good not like cotton and spandex rather than denim and spandex together. Yeah. Like okay. it's a softer material.
I have the exact same struggle though, Mary, where like I'll find them, they'll fit my thighs great. And then I go and button them up, and there's the biggest gap in the back because I guess my waist is supposed to be like this wide if my hips are also this wide. Like,
the sizings are very fat now. Like
yes.
Yep.
Target 00 is my size, and I am not a 00.
You could probably go in the kids section.
Yeah. I mean, I have in the past.
I can still buy shoes in the kids section.
Nice.
Love that.
There was a time when I could get like rare like Air Maxes that they didn't make in like men's size, like colorways that they didn't make, like purple and orange Air Maxes that you could only get from the kids section at like a department store.
Anyway, let's go to Super Chats.
All right,
we're off topic. X said, we wouldn't gaslight about audio stuff, especially not since you're taking this time out of your Saturday for us.
They're so mean to us here. They're so mean to
Greg
us.
Duvier said, I like this idea with Fast and Furious. I had a friend bring up the point of how many people got killed or injured with dragging the safe around.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. They're dragging an entire shipping container behind their car.
It's a good idea
at
to
80 miles an hour.
It's a good idea to use the concept of like, look, in the middle of all. It's one of my big complaints when people would say like, Ben Affleck's Batman, he's killing people. None of the other ones did that. I'm like, if you don't believe that any person died in any of those scenes when Christian Bale is driving the Tumbler all over Gotham, you do not understand anything. There's no way. Like they even make the point in one of them. They're like, it's a like Alfred's like, it's a miracle no one got killed. They literally had to add that line because there's no way you can watch those scenes and not think somebody died.
I can hear you better without my headphones on, so I'm just going to leave them off for the rest of the show.
Well, I can turn your headphones down.
Well, we're not going to fix any audio problems today because we're cursed.
Someone said it was my mic.
Really?
Yeah, I
don't
know.
believe any of you people anymore.
Today's theme is gaslighting.
Check your headphones again.
Okay. Start
good
talking.
Now?
Am I good now? Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because you were so echoey before.
Yeah.
Rob Morgan said, Brent's mic is very roomy on the audio. Have a great weekend. Happy Saturday. It's not Saturday.
I could have bought, like, he could be telling the truth in the first part and then gaslighting on the second part. This is psychological abuse.
It honestly is. It's very hard to be a podcaster. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. said, I enjoyed the 2000 Charlie's Angels movie. Did you see it?
Yes. Fun. Fun, and women were allowed to actually be sexy.
I love that you said fun on the 12-year anniversary of Rebecca Black's Friday.
Yes.
It is that day, by the way. And she just released her album on that anniversary date, like today.
Also, if you haven't listened to the Trapped remix of Friday by Rebecca Black, the chopped and screwed down south version, it's incredible.
Check it out.
It's incredible.
X said, remember to defenestrate the like button. I don't know, you could just tap it.
I'm not doing that. I'm not jumping off the like button.
Rascal King sent $1 without a message. It's been a while since we've seen Rascal King
I have not seen Rascal King in quite some time.
Dash Fortune said, bloody hell, yesterday's episode was so good. Can we make helium a normal thing for super chats over a certain amount? No, if we do it on a more regular basis, then we're gonna have to raise the minimum, though.
Also, like maybe
we'll be in talks about that.
Look, at a certain point, if we start having like anniversaries at the 50th episode, that's like a 6-month anniversary, which is a crime.
Oh no, we're not gonna do 50 episodes.
I may be a libertarian, but I think people who celebrate 6-month anniversaries should be punishable by the state. I think you should go to jail for celebrating 6 months.
Does IRL do any kind of celebrating or mention of every 100 episode mark?
They're very stoic. They're very stoic over there. We celebrate.
They're
here.
Austere.
Yes,
with their lighting here as well. X said, Daily Wire's Run, Hide, Fight does feminism better than they do. Hell, all of the Daily Wire films do female empowerment better than Hollywood.
I am going to point out, and this is a trope that's becoming true on the right now, they're all like leaning into they do the female stories now because they know that it's like look, we can do it too. Like, time to just make the straight white male stories again, guys. Like, they lean into it because it is like proof that you can still do those stories. You just don't need to go all the way Hollywood does with their modern day version of feminism. But yeah, anytime I see the stories now, they're like, see, it is diverse or this or that, because everyone knows that it can be done well. It's just that Hollywood doesn't know how to do it well anymore.
Potatoes for Seamus said, whoa, Brett, calm down. It's only Tuesday. Chill, bro.
See, they're just...
Breathe!
They're just mean. They're just mean.
Brett. They're also screwing with me because, I'm on a different time zone right now. So just...
BMF Nate Dogg said, never read the books. Read the books. The wife made me watch the movies. Thought they were mediocre, but the game is solid AF.
Yeah,
Hogwarts Legacy.
The books are fantastic. The movies actually make no sense if you haven't read the books. And
I feel stupid because, like, some people say that's not true. Some people say you can follow the movies without reading the books. But then I'm like having trouble. Maybe that's just because I have like a Gen Z attention span.
Yeah,
I'm only 2 of the movies through, and I've fallen asleep 3 times.
Just wait until you get to the 4th one, and then nothing will make sense.
No, that's the worst of.
That's where it just tanks.
The 4th, because the book is so long and they had to cut out so much. Like, it just cuts to scenes that literally, unless you've read the book, you're like, why are they there? Yeah, like, it makes no sense.
Did you read the books?
Read the books growing up, but again, just growing up. Yeah, and then I started reading other things because I grew up.
Unlike some people.
Yes.
Eye of Horus said, why are you guys talking about a floating skirt?
Is this Harry Styles? Is he the floating skirt?
Wait, what? Is this another Gaslight?
Probably.
Is it John Cena?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is, because you can't see him. We're so far past it. Yeah, you can't see him. Sorry.
BMF Nate Dogg said, happy Black History Month, Mary. Make it special.
Yes, Mary, make it special.
How should I make it special?
Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Speaking of Black History Month,
speaking of Black History Month, this article kind of got to me. I'm not gonna lie. Idris Elba explains why he no longer describes himself as a black actor. He says it put me in a box.
This article made Brett cry.
It kind of did. So I'm gonna read his quote. I'm going to just go through it. So it says, Idris Elba said in a recent interview he stopped describing himself as a black actor because it put him in a box. He says, if we spent half the time not talking about the differences but the similarities between us, the entire planet would have a shift in the way we deal with each other, the Beast actor told Esquire. He says, as humans, we are obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations, hinder people's growth. He agreed that racism should be discussed. Racism is very real, Elba said, but from my perspective, it's only as powerful as you allow it to be. I stopped describing myself as a black actor when I realized it put me in a box. We've got to grow. We've got to. Our skin is no more than that. It's just skin. Rant over. And it kind of reminded me of when Morgan Freeman said that the way you solve racism is by stopping talking about it back in the early 2000s. I think there's even a thing of Don Lemon saying similar things like in like 2013 or something like that. Further proof that they're just talking heads.
In the 2000s or the 2010s.
He said the actor, okay, there was more to this too, though, that was really good because he kind of goes in further to addressing the part we always talk about, Mary, when people are like, I am so proud to be the first of my group to be this, or that, which is like very much teamed up. He says, they asked him, they said, does he consider himself a member of the black community? He says, you say a prominent one, he told the interviewer, but when I go to America, I'm a prominent member of the British community. He said he appreciates that I might be the first to look like me to do a certain thing, and that's a good part of my legacy, so that other black kids, but also white kids growing up in the same circumstances as me, like that's important, right? Like growing up poor doesn't necessarily mean that it has all to do with skin color. Like they boil it down to the most base characteristics you have, and it really is like a room temperature IQ level argument to have with people. And my fear for most of this is that he's part of a dying class of actor. When you read interviews from newer actors, they spout the exact opposite lingo. They take the exact opposite approach. They believe that what they look like is the most important characteristic for them to market. As actors like Idris Elba get older, we're going to see far less of this, and the society we live in is going to be worse for it. Like, you can make the argument that, okay, he's an actor. Is he really all that important anyways? I'd argue, yes. Him saying this is good for society, to point out that, yes, what I look like is part of who I am, but it's not all of who I am. Whether we want to admit it or not, these people hold court in society. They matter to people. And if we have less of him and more of the people saying, look, I look like this, and this is, I'm so proud to represent this group because I've never seen someone who looks like me on screen before, and nobody could understand what I've been through unless they look exactly like me. We need more of this and a lot less of that.
Another thing, he was asked if he feels like he broke barriers as a black man in Hollywood. He said, as you get up the ladder, you're asked what it's like to be the first black to do this or that. It's the same as if it would be if I were white. It's the first time for me. I don't want to be the first black. I'm the first Idris. I appreciate the sentiment. But is he saying this in a way that's going to influence any other black actors or actresses, or even his black fans? Or is he saying this in a way that's only going to resonate with white people who are forced to be individualistic anyway? My
hope would be, unfortunately, my theory would be that it's less influential because he's older, and that the more influential ones are the younger actors who get far more screen time and are far more online, which is where all the information is being traded these days.
Well, he's also probably getting a lot of this because of all of the, for years it was the James Bond rumors.
Yeah, they talk about that they wanted to. And it's funny, too, because I don't want him to play James Bond. I want him to be a Bond villain. I want him to be a bad guy in the Bond movie.
Just want him to be a villain because you villainize black people.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
You're pigeonholing them.
They could say that, except for Luther is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I guess I do love him in The Wire, and he's not even a bad guy in The Wire. He's just he's a criminal in The Wire, but everyone's a bad person in The Wire, kind of. So there are no sacred cows in that show. They're all kind of they're all shades of gray.
I'm like dying to know if his wife agrees with him on this, because I know that like during BLM, like the Summer of Love, she like commented that riots are not a disproportionate response to 400 years of oppression, and urged people to educate themselves on oppression.
There's that word. There's those words again. Educate yourself. Ever notice how, like, whenever they say that, they don't even provide you with, like, study materials? I'm waiting for somebody to give me a study guide.
The craziest part of that is that they're British. She was talking about this to influence people across the Atlantic Ocean to riot in a different country. Meanwhile, her nation's history is completely different from ours.
Yep. That's the internet.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just globalism, though. It's that she feels like, as a black person, she has more unity with black people who live in the United States than with other British nationals.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Dark.
Yeah,
that's a dark reality to confront. And now meanwhile, her husband is saying the exact opposite sentiment, which is that you should regard yourself as an individual, be proud of your own achievements, and get past your own setbacks and not the setbacks of your collective group.
Well, notice how the people, I mean, I don't know if Hollywood's the best example of this, but the successful people tend to want to support the idea of the individual because they had to overcome their own circumstances to get there. It's actually a weird sentiment to talk about with the youth of today, that they can overcome whatever they supposedly overcome to get where they're going, and then talk about what it means for a group rather than what it means for them, which is what they should be proud of. Your individual circumstances matter more than the overall sentiment, because the overall sentiment is boiled down to a much worse argument.
Also just assumes that, like, I mean, isn't it just kind of racist to assume that every black person comes from bad beginnings?
Yeah.
That's pretty racist because, I mean, you have white people in the Appalachians who are, you know, people get called trailer trash for a reason. There's white trailer trash for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of people don't understand that the average, like, somebody who lives in an inner city has a lot more in common with somebody who lives in, like, the Appalachian Mountains than they do with somebody who lives in the suburbs, right? Like, so your skin color plays a role in that, but it's really both groups that have been, you know, bogged down by bad public policy and tons of things that have worked against them. One you'd call systemic racism. The other one you'd just call bad city planning. And you know,
Brett, I have to rain on your parade because I just found proof that Idris Elba is a total hypocrite.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So the content of the interview we're talking about, great stuff. Thumbs up to everything he said in that interview alone.
Okay.
But then I just found out that he lent his signature to an open letter calling on the film industry to support black actors and black filmmakers.
In the context of what?
It was during the summer of 2020.
Okay.
And he was on this open letter with 300 other black actors and filmmakers. It included Queen Latifah, Billy Porter, a lot of likely suspects.
Yeah, it was the summer of love. We'll give him temporary insanity.
I guess I'm not surprised either.
Why though?
Yeah.
You know?
Everyone, like, so many people back then did the black square, and while I don't think that they should have done it, I mean, a lot of people just caved to that social pressure, and so maybe now he's finally starting to admit that he was wrong.
I mean, if not admit he was wrong, but, like, that's such a generic statement. Support black actors.
Well,
what does that mean?
Here's one quote from it. The open letter said, "It is time for Hollywood to acknowledge its role and take on the responsibility of repairing the damage and being a proactive part of the change."
Yeah.
It means nothing. But he still signed this open letter.
Yeah.
He added himself to this collective group of black actors. The literal term he just renounced. He did the same thing.
Yeah, but this is newer, and he's saying that he now no longer identifies as a black actor.
But it's hypocritical because he didn't even admit his fault in... He is part of the problem that he's claiming is being put on him. He's claiming that the rest of Hollywood puts an expectation on him that he's the first black actor to do blah, blah, blah. Or that he's part of a collective group of black actors. Meanwhile, he himself adopted that identity. And now he's renouncing it, claiming it wasn't him that adopted it.
I mean, he's not saying
claiming
explicitly
it was forced
that
on him.
Where does he say it was forced on him?
I'm paraphrasing.
Okay. I like
Brett. I mean, you're trying so hard. You're coping so hard to make this interview.
I disagree. No, I'm not saying
he's
that he's
a
wrong.
hypocrite.
I'm saying that isn't the point that people grow? Like, I'm not saying that he won't come out tomorrow and do the exact same thing and sign another open letter. Sure, he's a celebrity. I'm not saying that I trust celebrities. I'm saying that if we're to take him at his word, at least from the context of this interview, is that how he feels now is different than how he felt in 2020. I feel different about things now than I did in 2020.
If he said that out loud, it would be one thing. But instead, he's saying this still putting forth a victim narrative that's like, oh, Hollywood is so racist that they expected me to be part of the black community. Like, he said he doesn't consider himself a member of the black community in this interview, right? Meanwhile, he adopted that identity for himself. It wasn't forced on him.
I would argue
he adopted it.
It's more likely that he felt pressured to do what he did in 2020. And this is, you can call it a code.
Poor Idris Elba.
Yeah,
he felt
pressured to be able to get roles.
Yeah,
like if he was genuinely up for consideration for James Bond, maybe he felt the need to lend his signature to that.
He's a perfect example of somebody who doesn't need his skin. He didn't need to get roles based on his skin color because he's so prolific.
Act like it.
You could be
bend
right.
the knee.
I'm just because he did not address an open letter that he wrote in 2020 in this interview.
I'm sure there's more material out there. If I had the time, I could write a thesis on all of Idris Elba's virtue signals to racial politics before even this open letter was signed.
If all somebody ever sees is this interview. Then he's done more good than he's done more good if somebody sees this interview than he has bad if somebody saw the
I'm not even sure that's true. Yeah. All of these comments, I'm guessing, are coming from people who already are of this point of view of hyper-individualism, don't claim to be part of, a racial identity group or a sexual identity group. Like, be yourself as an individual and care about your individual achievements. All of the comments are saying, like, totally agree with this guy. Not that their viewpoints were challenged. And I bet that most of the people commenting are also white people. Yeah. And what I said before is true. White people are the only racial group that have to be individualistic.
Yeah.
We're forced to have an individualist mindset.
Because we're not allowed to be collectivist.
Because you're shamed for your collectivism.
And I'm not saying that's, like, something we should do. I mean, I'm just saying, like, the fact. Like, we are not allowed to have a collectivist mindset. And if we were, we would be canceled for it.
Funny how, like,
for lack of a better word.
Funny how in like Japan they could be collectivists and no other like white countries can't be collectivists. And I'm not saying one way or the other that Japan's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's interesting that some people get passes and some people don't.
Yeah. Like, Idris Elba has the freedom to switch back and forth between a perfect victim, like a professional victim, and a hyper individual like power player in Hollywood. He can switch between those roles seamlessly and no one notices. And I resent that. He gets to do that because he's black.
I don't see just him not addressing that like you said, there could be a laundry list of examples here, but I don't think him not addressing the open letter in this means that this has any less validity. But you could be right.
He's part of the problem that he's saying is a problem.
And I stick by the idea that you should not care what any celebrity thinks, but I did like the sentiment of this. So soon.
I did too.
It's a flag.
I did too. I'm just saying, like, he's complaining about a problem that he helped create, and he's not even acknowledging that he helped create it.
2020 was a rough period for a lot of people, and signing that open letter was
it sure was.
I'm from Minnesota. I was there while all of this was happening.
This open letter even addressed, like, police TV shows that valorize cops.
It's funny, too, because he plays Luther, which is like a cop who's very, very...
Exactly.
Like, the very first scene you see in Luther is him drop a guy, like, just let a dude fall to his death.
Hypocrite.
Very first start of the scene. 2010 was a different time, too.
So, sorry to black pill everyone, but I just don't... I don't like giving celebrities a free pass.
In this case, we talk about them so much that I can support this message and hope that somebody reads this and takes the right message from it.
No one who doesn't agree with it already is going to do that.
Fair point. That
That's
for the most
sad
part,
truth.
I would agree with that part of it. So
right, let's go to Superchats now that you're black-pilled. Regatan said, is it Genshin or Genshin Impact? Oops.
Genshin.
Genshin Impact's English VA admitted to grooming fans? I haven't seen this story.
Me neither.
Clint said, howdy people. Y'all talk about Harry Styles' manufactured persona reminds me of the episode of Futurama when Bender was a pro wrestler and they changed his persona and put him in a tutu and called him Gender. I love that. Futurama is a good show. Helmsway said pizza and Walmart money. Love that. Thank you. The Last of My Kind said unrelated to anything but pizza is bae. Are we going back to calling things bae?
Is that one back? When did that one left?
We can bring back F-boy too while we're at it.
Okay.
Maybe fleek.
Ooh.
Calling things that are on or off fleek.
I'll bring that back with you, Mary.
Yeah. Dumbledore said Harry Styles is dressing for attention. Like, whoa, man.
I don't think he's dressing himself.
Maybe partly, but it means he has bad taste. X said, indeed, Brett, we want all the bums. Wait, what? Like dressing in sweatpants to work?
Apparently.
Shimmy Shelley. That reminds me, like, I wonder what the dress code is for teachers now. Like, I don't know. My teachers always dress like...
I don't remember what any of my
somewhat
teachers dress
business
like.
casual. Shimmy Shelley said, Brett got back, baby. Is this true? Are the rumors true?
We'll get the leather pants and find out.
Yeah. Last of My Kind said, Batman doesn't kill, he just punches people in the face hard enough to cause lethal head trauma, LOL.
And medical bills that will send you into bankruptcy.
It's a movie, it doesn't matter. X said, I love how in Hollywood, like, you can either get punched with that level of force and be fine, or
you'll
knocked
get
out
like forever.
Knocked out by like being pushed against the wall or something.
They punch you in the face and they just knock you, and you get knocked out for like
there's no in between.
20 minutes. Yeah.
X said, to be clear, I was saying audio is fine. Happy Saturday. Thank you. Savrix said, anyone coming out of academia or consumes media without question are potential revolutionaries. Old Yeller, the deconstructionist ideologies, all of it. X said, no, but that's just the thing in the Daily Wire stuff. It's not contrived, we can do it too. It's organic to the characters and situations.
I would argue that it's not organic. I think they do it because they know that it's subversive to what's actually going on right now. So they do it because they know they can say, look, we're conservatives and we can make movies about women too. We'll just make them good. And
like,
that works too, but I don't think it's organic. I still think it's very much every level of the filmmaking process, right down to the race, gender, and sexuality of a character is on the table as far as the discussion process. So organically made, perhaps, but it's still a decision that they're making. It's not like they just stumbled upon the idea
demand for it is organic.
Yes.
But there is something inherently awkward and inorganic about doing anything that's traditional these days.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, maybe in the past you'd be able to do that organically, but even on the right, you can't. It's just not possible to be organic about traditional values. Like,
Corey Anderson said, playing Hogwarts Legacy right now.
Excellent.
Dash Fortune said, we were discussing in chat, any super chat over 50 or 100 has the option of being read with helium. You could also limit it to Fridays or other events.
Those are good ideas.
Could limit it to Fridays. That's true. Because, like, I wouldn't be able to have a constant supply of helium balloons around.
Yeah, you'd have to figure out where to get it on a
Especially
regular
with
basis.
this helium shortage. The economy is just such a mess that now we have a helium shortage.
Let's hold off on the rest and come back.
All right.
All right. So Balenciaga is back in the news. They are partnering up with a group called the National Children's Alliance because they've got a show coming up and they want people to forget that they were promoting kid diddling. So that's a problem. Am I right?
They gave their empty fake apology. And their stylist Demna said that he personally apologized for the wrong artistic choice of concept for the gift campaign with kids. He takes responsibility. But then nothing happened after that.
Well, what does take responsibility mean?
Yeah, it's like, is he supposed to go and like self-flagellate? Like, what's the deal?
I mean, it really is like frustrating when, you know, it comes from the other side. They're so bloodthirsty and insatiable for revenge. And then when the right ostensibly has a similar complaint that actually has merit, we give up so easily. Like, no one protested this in person.
Yeah. No one's gonna probably show up.
This isn't a mainstream issue.
No one's gonna show up to the show and protest, I don't think.
It's like Hogwarts Legacy. Real people don't care because they don't know what's going on.
The issue of child exploitation is not a mainstream issue. And if you think about it, that like shows how common it is.
Well, it is Hollywood and the entertainment industry and the fashion industry especially.
So it says the NCA is a membership organization that provides support to abused children by bringing them to one of their care centers, more specifically Children's Advocacy Center, the CAC. Potential abuse victims are taken to a CAC to undergo an investigation and intervention process. What I thought was interesting is they give numbers here, and they talk about being able to hire 2,000 professionals and help like 55,000 kids. I would like to know where they got those numbers.
It says,
like over 3 years, they can help 55,000 kids with the help of 2,000 new trained professionals. I'd love to know like where that number. Like I can just feel the bloat in money being spent to come up with those numbers.
Let me look at their post and see if they provided any proof.
And my question is, what about all the kids that were part of these ads? Like, Will they get compensated properly? Like
they probably were.
For damages?
The second the stuff came out, they were probably paid to shut up. I bet.
Okay.
Oh, but I don't mean paid to shut up. I mean taken care of.
Oh, I don't think that'll happen. I think that they paid them off. I don't think they'll come. They won't feel like a responsibility to do that because they've been paid a certain amount of money to go away because these companies are evil.
It says this 3-year program will have 3 pillars. Supporting National Children Alliance Mental Health Institute, helping children heal from trauma by facilitating a significant increase in access to trauma-focused cognitive behavioral training. I wonder if the child models will be part of this program.
No.
Secondly, providing education for Balenciaga about child protection and actions that adults can take to promote the safety and well-being of children. So I assume this is going to be a Zoom call that all of the Balenciaga employees are required to answer to with their cameras off.
Wow, sexual harassment training just got real interesting.
Sexual harassment training for pedophiles.
Yeah.
Stop being around kids. Raise public awareness on child abuse and child protection and promoting a happy, healthy childhood. I don't know what that means.
What is their definition of happy, healthy childhood?
It's all very objective.
Yeah, like what does happy, healthy childhood mean to like creepy celebrities and
this is
companies?
their only post on their Instagram.
Yeah.
So I
feels
wonder,
fake. All of it feels fake.
They turned off comments, so they obviously don't want anyone's feedback.
Well, that's crazy too. Like I said, who are the people? Like I don't believe people actually. Like we said, normal people don't know this stuff is going on because normal people don't buy Balenciaga, and there was nobody protesting in any of these centers. Normal people don't care. They're just trying to bolster their image before their next public show.
And like celebrities and influencers were throwing away their Balenciaga, but you're gonna still see those celebrities show up to Fashion Week.
All of that was fake too.
Yeah.
All of that was virtue signaling to throw it away.
I just don't understand how the owner of Kering, Salma Hayek's husband, at the same time as signing on with this program, is running an auction site that sells figurines, like life-size figurines of children with genitalia for faces. Like,
it feels like more of just a money laundering scheme to me.
What seems like
the auction site or Balenciaga as a whole?
The charity.
The charity.
Well, yeah, I mean, all 3 can be maybe indicted of that, but like, it's worse for the charity's public image to be associated with Balenciaga. Like, Balenciaga wins all of the PR in this situation, so what's the trade-off? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
It seems sus all around. Mm-hmm. But I just really resent that, like, we, not us here sitting today, but like we, the royal we that ostensibly cared about this issue after the scandal popped off, have forgotten so quickly that it happened, and like people just aren't righteously angry about it anymore. Like it completely fell off the face of the earth.
I'm in a post-righteous anger stage. I don't care. Everything feels fake these days to me. I think it's just because of when you intake so much information every day, you have to read about all this stuff, and nothing feels real anymore, and it all feels manufactured. And I can't bring myself, maybe I'm just burnt out, but I can't bring myself to care. I don't think that Balenciaga is going to change their ways. I think every company that's ever done something wrong gives money to charity and then pays their fines and goes on doing the same bad shit. I don't think it really matters.
It's especially bad in the fashion industry too, because I know what we were talking about before was with everything with Alexander Wang, and I don't know if are we gonna get to that later?
Yeah, we'll get that. We're gonna talk about that too with Julia Fox.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fashion industry has been ripe for abuse for decades. Everyone knows that. Hollywood has been ripe for abuse for decades. These things aren't going to change. And if all they're doing is paying fines and then hiring PR firms to figure out what NGO to hire them to hire as their image, as the thing that absolves them of their crime through their image, then I'm not really interested, because I don't buy that they're actually going to change or make a difference. Nothing's changing at the structural level, so does it really even matter, right? I felt that way about Balenciaga mainly because it felt like we watched this video of the the day. We're talking how long after the thing happened did Ivory Hecker go to the mall? It was just a couple days after all of this, and nobody was there. Nobody was complaining,
even though there was a protest announced.
Yeah, nobody
in front of the store. No one showed up.
But they got kicked out. Her and somebody got kicked out just for filming there.
But there were maybe 15 people that showed up in the first place, and then the security immediately pounced on them. I hate to be think of the kids, but someone has to say it, right? It's is it corny to defend children's innocence these days?
No, it just seems like the people that shop Balenciaga probably don't have as much time. They're rich, they probably work big jobs maybe, and they just don't have the same amount of time to be poking around on the internet and finding these stories like we do.
Well,
I feel it's the opposite though, because Balenciaga sends free shit to influencers all the time.
But do they care about social issues like we care about social issues?
They have to at least pretend, right?
They can put the BLM card in their bio, but that's about it.
You shouldn't have to pretend.
No, but you don't have to.
Yeah. In Hollywood you do. In Hollywood now you have to pretend to care about social issues.
Yeah.
None of the influencers who got free Balenciaga items in the mail threw them out or said anything when the scandal happened.
Yeah, that was maybe more shocking that nobody felt like they had to say anything. And then I guess
Meanwhile,
we did cover
you're
Kim
indicted
Kardashian
for your silence, because silence is violence. Anything else happens.
We did get in trouble. We did talk about Kim Kardashian getting kind of raked over the coals for not having the right response. People got mad at her for that.
I'm just curious who's going to show up to this particular fashion week for Balenciaga. I'm just curious who's going to be at the show.
They're all we'll wait till the second year afterwards. All of them are hopefully maybe we'll wait till the 2024 fashion show.
It's not even a Balenciaga problem. It's a fashion industry problem. They are rife with predators and sexual deviants. And it's not exclusive to any one brand.
Yeah. They're just the ones that got caught most recently.
Alexander Wang, for instance. Yeah. People are bringing this up because Julia Fox, still stands this designer.
You know what? Let's just go to it. Let's just do it right now.
Yeah.
All
right. Julia Fox is getting a little bit of heat because she, is still an Alexander Wang stan after many allegations of sexual predation have been leveled against him. And she claims to be some kind of ally or advocate or feminist, just like the rest of these public figures. Yep. But when push comes to shove, if being an ally means sacrificing having free designer stuff in your closet, then you're not going to go out to bat for the victims.
Yeah.
She doesn't care. And it's the same thing that happened with that comment she left on that guy's TikTok, where she's he is in a very obvious way alluding to the fact that he has been assaulted, and she says, "I don't feel bad for you, LOL."
Because none of
it's
these
a laughing
people,
matter to her.
To me, I actually don't care if you don't care about people. That doesn't bother me. But you pretending to care, but only caring about certain things, that annoys me.
Well, the interesting thing about both Alexander Wang and then Denma with Balenciaga is that, I mean, what do these two gentlemen have in common? They're both protected class because they're both gay. And so people aren't going to be so keen on canceling them and then sticking to it. They're going to cancel them. It'll be front of mind for a moment. They'll think about it, and then they'll forget about it.
Yeah.
There's such asymmetrical responses to things that, like, don't make sense. Like, I don't share a moral compass with any of these people. How can you dig your own grave to defend a literal sexual predator, but then on the other hand, Kanye has been completely ousted from the fashion industry and the art world, essentially, like all of his former social circles from Hollywood, and I doubt that he will have many like music collabs in the future either, because he made some offensive racial comments. Like, isn't actually committing a crime worse than saying something offensive?
No, not
saying something impolite.
In Velma,
asking who is they though?
In Velma, they said that. They said no. Actually, hurting someone's feelings is worse now.
Yeah, because words are violence.
So committing crimes is actually fine by today's standards in Hollywood. So you're fine. See, it's the hypocrisy that I care about. Like I don't. If you just tell me you're a bad person, I can just say okay, you're a bad person. But at least you're not pretending to be something else, right? It's pretending to be some type of victim advocate and making it your whole identity because activism's for frickin' losers.
Julia Fox does admit that she's a bad person because on TikTok, this person said Julia is walking for Alexander Wang, and that goes against everything she stands for. And she said, to be frank, I love cancel culture, but we do need to leave room for rehabilitation and for those
even the leave room for rehabilitation part
put in
sucks.
the work and heal and learn from their mistakes. It's so crazy that after being a sexual predator, you are the one who needs to heal.
Yeah.
It's your victims who need to heal.
I hate activism more than anything on the planet. I hate activism. I hate false virtue, and I hate the bully culture that it's turned the internet into. Meaning that activism isn't really about making anything better anymore. It's about cloaking yourself in false virtue so that you can be an absolute piece of shit to other people.
It makes your career skyrocket.
I don't even know if I buy that anymore. Like, do any of these people really get big boosts? Like I guess some of the actors who they're activists on causes based on their identity, but does somebody like Julia Fox really get a huge boost to her career based on her activism?
No.
I don't think so. I think they're just awful people.
Her biggest boost to her career was getting full body lipo and then getting dressed by Kanye.
It's all
that's
false.
Pretty much it.
It's all false virtue. It's all using some cause to give yourself plot armor, basically, so that people can't come back at you and admit that what you are, which is like an awful person. Like, I'd rather, if somebody wants to dislike me because I don't give a crap about activism of any sort, at least then that's like a fair assessment of me, right? Like, I don't care about activism. I don't care about any particular cause, any one cause. But for the people that do, they believe that having that one cause that you parrot the beliefs of or the goals of prevents them from being criticized for other things, and that's stupid.
Someone commented Black Pill Friday. Yikes.
Yeah.
Are we blackpilling on accident? Oops.
I mean, I say I hate activism all the time, so that's more common.
I just hate outrage culture.
Yeah.
Because I think some people do have a good heart behind what they're doing, but when people leech onto activism out of outrage, that's what kind of wigs me out, because it doesn't seem genuine.
It's the internet. It's like everyone wants to be an activist as long as they can do it from their phone.
Do you remember when it was announced that the Met Gala is now themed after Karl Lagerfeld? Mm-hmm. And then everyone freaked out because he's like problematic, only based on his opinions, by the way. Not that he like committed any crimes.
Well, isn't that the guy who said that like
sexist and racist and blah blah blah?
He said like we need more bulimia or something like that.
Yeah, like classic fashion industry.
That's hilarious.
Whatever.
Come on, that's
like,
awesome.
It's Amanda Priestley tier offensive comments.
It's like how we were saying before, you can't really tell with British humor, you know, what we were discussing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, these people just say these things and they don't actually mean like, yeah, I want all these models to be bulimic.
Yeah. Dumbledore says, depends on the activists. Some activists get outside and do things like clean garbage from rivers. Others just stand around and whine. Yeah, I'm talking about the people who, I'm not even talking about the Gretas who actually have to go out there and be, who have to be paraded around by their handlers. I'm talking about the people who are activists as long as they're on their phones and typing with their thumbs.
Keyboard warriors.
That's the worst type. That's not even activism. It's just it's just an excuse to bully other people.
I just think like any Julia Fox fans who are shocked at this, your first mistake was thinking that Julia Fox had principles,
right?
In the first place, like does she stand for anything? Does Julia Fox have a moral compass? Like, I didn't assume that immediately.
I never got that vibe. On that, no,
it would be like imagining that Emily Ratatouille has, any type of moral compass or belief system, other than just, me oppressed.
Her belief system is like anything that involves talking about men.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well, that one's funny though.
You're so obsessed with men that you made a whole podcast to talk with other women about how much you hate men.
But they don't live rent free in her brain or anything.
Have you listened to that podcast?
I haven't, but maybe I should.
It's awful.
Okay.
It's really bad. I think worse than Julia Fox's podcast, the Forbidden Fruits podcast. Such a dumb name.
All right.
All these women, they just can't stop talking.
It's like the Hollywood version of an email job.
It is, yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to exist. But I guess
she makes headlines so easily. Yeah. It's annoying.
I find those headlines all to be very vapid. Like she always it feels like there should be more meat on the bones of their stories, but it never actually is.
Who, for someone like Julia Fox
and Emily Ratajkowski?
Emily Ratajkowski. Yeah. Well, they make headlines because of their images, and people like Julia Fox, especially now, are like pushing the boundaries of feminine images with this whole succubus chic thing with the buccal fat removal.
Is that how it's pronounced?
What was that?
The buccal fat?
Yes, it's buccal. Okay. I believe it's buccal fat. Yeah. That's what I've heard. Yeah. And then getting their fox eye lifts and shaving their brows off.
Maybe they can get the fat
from
here.
They look like aliens.
They can get the fat from here and give it to Madonna, and they can add it that way. You take one from give it to the other, you don't waste it.
She doesn't need any more fillers in her face, though.
Madonna's
too much. It's gonna explode.
It's like it's really funny how I do feel bad for women sometimes, when I look at just all to be fair, I don't know if I buy the narrative that it's a lot of the old narrative used to be that it's men's fault that women or it's society's fault that women have to look this way or that they want them to look this way.
No, women do this for other women.
Women do it to it feels like women doing it to other women, saying you need to look this way, otherwise you're not beautiful.
You need to realize that there's something valuable about you as a woman after you are no longer sexually attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the self-proclaimed feminists don't understand that.
Very weird.
That's ironic.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple of super chats there. Let's do it.
X thinks that we need to ask you more questions and you're being too polite.
Oh boy, I didn't know that. I think I was too polite.
Turn on the rudeness. Turn on the spice.
Well, I'm a lady.
Who's being too polite? She's being too polite?
Yeah.
We're not being too polite. We're never too polite.
Yeah, we're rude. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're so toxic and you appear like such a nice person compared to us.
You come in here and it's a bright ray of sunshine compared to us when you deal with this stuff enough and it gets to be a little bit depressing sometimes.
Don't worry. I've got my toxic side. It's okay.
I wish there were an EV podcast of EV writers.
I would be all for that.
Why isn't that a thing yet?
I can ask the editors, certainly.
Please do.
Yeah.
Johnny Beck gave us a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Airtez said, Brett, let her cook. Which one of us?
Will do. The kitchen's that way.
Okay. Halls and the Kid said, Idris is worth the mental gymnastics, Mary. No, I'm not giving this guy a free pass. He's a hypocrite.
It's also the type of thing where my views on certain things change with my mood and depending on the day. Maybe on the day he signed that letter and it's right after all this stuff happened. It is what it is. I also believe that signing something like that probably involved more than just that. And I will say that if I'm being cynical, there's an agent involved, and there's people involved in his marketing and who get him roles that say, look, it would be good for your career to do this.
The copium you're on right now.
But
it's insane.
When I celebrate the stuff that's good, I celebrate the stuff that's good. When we call it the stuff that's bad, we call it the stuff that's bad. If that article of him signing that letter had come out in 2020 and we were doing this podcast then, we would have called it out, right?
Guys, if you're not aware, EV is not the letters EV. It's EVIE. And it's a magazine.
Similar to how my last name is a Pokemon, the magazine is also a Pokemon.
Do you wear the brand Mew Mew?
No, but maybe I should.
Yeah, that would be fitting. Yeah, it's like the premier magazine for based females. Joseph said you shouldn't have joked about gaslighting with chat.
Hey,
you guys took it way too far.
You guys are the ones that's I'll be upset that the podcast was a little bit rough around the edges at the beginning for like 8 minutes. It's everybody else that suffers for having the rough start. It's not our fault.
Trevor Halbrook said small helium tank and one balloon, fill and inhale. Look, you don't understand the helium economy right now. There is a helium shortage. Yeah. I got into a whole discussion at Party City with the manager about the status of like helium availability in this country.
Why?
There was a reserve of helium. Okay, they're from like natural gas deposits, I guess, and it's not renewable. So there was a helium reserve in Texas that it ran out completely 2 years ago. Okay, so we have no more there, and now the supply is very strained. And then when that reserve ran out, all of like Party City and its competitors, they stopped renting out helium tanks. You can't really get them anymore. They have to fill the balloons for you.
Oh, but that's just a mess to try to bring home.
Exactly. Ooh. And I almost died. But I did it for the show because I care about the 300th episode. Let it be known. But they're also like skimping out on the helium. They're going like half air, half helium.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get one over on you, but I noticed.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had to like take half the balloon before it would even do anything.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
So not my fault. I had proper inhaling technique. 1,000 Foot Deep End said, turning off comments is more than just not wanting feedback. You can ignore comments. It's the discussion between other people they really don't want.
Yeah, a lot of people pointed out that one of the big reasons they shut down restaurants and bars in 2020 and not liquor stores is because that's where people go to exchange information, and that's how you spread the word. So they can moderate your chat online. They can block your account. They can have you banned for saying something that they call misinformation or fake news. But you can't regulate a discussion someone has in the real world. So the best way to prevent people from sharing information and figuring out what was going on was to prevent them from being able to interact in the real world. So.
1,000 Foot Deep End said, I'm forgetting my manners. Welcome to PCC, Andrea.
Hello.
Dumbledore said, women have value beyond the bedroom. Sandwiches won't make themselves.
I still think that it's a hilarious thing now where it's become like a trope where it's like she'll make you food, but she just won't make you a sandwich because the sandwich has been particularly villainized.
She'll make you a whole feast.
But just not a sandwich because that goes with the narrative that they want you in the kitchen just to make me a sandwich.
Well, you want a sandwich, you got to go to Panera.
Yeah.
Sandwiches are so lazy. Like, no, I'm not going to make you a whole sandwich. I'm going to make you a really nice slow-cooked soup.
There you go. Right there.
Now you're talking.
Yeah.
Tacty Platty said, happy 300 episodes. Big Avocado is shaking in their boots.
They are. They're still shaking right now.
We will always be against Big Avocado. Beanbag Actual said, happy Friday, PCC. Have a good weekend. Andrea, best to worst. Pancakes, French toast, waffles.
Oh, easily waffles number one.
Controversial.
I make protein waffles all the time.
Okay.
I've perfected my recipe. And then I'd probably say pancakes and then French toast.
That's a controversial take.
That is controversial because I think like on the show it's been French toast number one for everyone.
Wow. Okay.
For me, it's French toast waffles, then pancakes. And then Brett's French toast pancakes waffles, right?
Yes.
I don't know. It's a very contentious issue on the show.
I'm just a big fan of waffles, I must say.
Yeah. BMF Nate Dogg said there is a helium shortage and Mary is huffing it. I'm like single-handedly causing the helium shortage in this country.
It's all your fault.
I just don't understand. Like, how can we not find more reserves of it? Like, what's happening there?
Or, like, isn't there some sort of similar product that can also maybe work in similarly? I don't know.
People were recommending, what is it called? Sodium hexafluoride, but that's to make your voice sound lower.
Oh.
Like Darth Vader.
Oh, I want to hear that.
I don't know how easy that is to access, though. But yeah, like, I guess, what do they say? Nitrogen would do the same, but that's really dangerous.
Thank you.
Inhale. It's difficult to find one that does the same thing but is non-toxic.
Fair.
Beanbag Actual said, Brett, before I head to work, any movie or show recommendations for this weekend?
If you haven't seen Ray Donovan, especially the earlier seasons of Ray Donovan, if you're looking for something that does not have to be watched in any particular order, if you never saw Murdoch Mysteries, it's very, very interesting. It goes along with it's a Canadian show, kind of in the same vein of like, oh.
Thank you.
It always makes me so happy. Or The Killing.
Tonight we dine in hell.
The Killing, starring Anil Miros and what's the dude who plays Rick Flag in Suicide Squad. It's kind of dark and depressing. It's based on a Danish TV show, and it's like the season 1 theme is Who Killed Rosie Larson, and it gets really depressing in the later seasons.
European TV shows are depressing.
The American version is, I've heard, is not as depressing as the Danish version, but I've heard the Danish version is better. But I could come up with a better list. I had one last night that I was going to mention. Also, watch Buffy. If you haven't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's very, very good.
If you want something like more recent, Severance, watch Severance, but don't buy Apple TV Plus.
Why not?
It sucks.
Or you know what?
It has Gutsy with Hillary Clinton. Do I need to say more?
Fair point. Also, if you can find The Following, which I don't know where you'd be able to get The Following because I think it's only on like the CW app right now, but The Following was a show about a serial killer cult from 2014 starring Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy. Maybe the best consistent use of music in a television show I've ever seen. Very, very, very good, especially up through season 1. It gets a little bit shaky in season 2 because it doesn't feel like the James Purefoy character needed to survive past season 1, considering he's like the serial killer that runs the cult. It felt like it should have wrapped up there. But also very, very good. So those are some ones to look at this weekend if you can find them.
Here's my unsolicited recommendation. I would definitely say older Star Trek. Not any of the new shows that are coming out. My husband and I had been going through TNG, and then we just recently started with Deep Space Nine. And I'm just watching it with rose-tinted glasses, but I'm pretty obsessed with Deep Space Nine right now.
Also, you're preaching to the choir.
Oh, good.
Also, if you haven't seen Firefly, I know there were some people in the chat that had never taken the time to watch. I believe all 12 episodes are still on Hulu. Very, very short, and then watch Serenity when you're done.
Ramlock said, did you know the Hindenburg was filled with hydrogen because they didn't want to use U.S. helium?
I didn't know that.
Sketch Therapy said, I commend Mary on her groundbreaking work on the helium shortage. Balloons are floating half as much. I support her in her battle with Party City. They will not win.
Did you go like, I want to speak to your manager? Did like somebody say like we have no helium? You're like, that's it.
No, but the other day I did buy discounted sushi, and when I rang it up, it wasn't the discounted price, and I had a Karen moment.
You threw a fit.
I had a Karen.
You're like, I am not paying full price.
No, but like they said, oh, you need to have a grocery store fill in the name card to get the discount, and I was like, it didn't say that though. It didn't say that on the. near the display of the sushi. So
sushi can be expensive too.
Yeah.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late sushi.
That's so true. Mark Reyes said, the plain fries from In-N-Out suck. Go for animal style every time. That's true. That's true.
Now I'm hungry.
But at the same time, like, I've never had In-N-Out. I've only had the Cajun fries.
Helium Karens, they're saying in the chat, like that. If I started a band, I would start a band called the Helium Karens. I think that'd be good.
I don't like it.
If I was going to start a ska band, it would be the Helium Karens.
Huawei37 said, helium escapes the atmosphere eventually. Comet collision replenishes it.
Okay.
Oh.
So we need a comet.
The asteroid.
Okay.
So now you're talking. It's Black Pill Friday. bring the asteroid collision. Sketch Therapy said, helium being aired down without warning is fraud.
Oh, so they can't, like,
so true.
There's probably
They're
like
selling me a fake product.
There's probably like a little tag on it that says like mixed helium, like in little tiny letters, and it's like helium mixed with air.
I remember when I was a kid, if I brought a balloon into my house and I accidentally let go of it, it would be on the ceiling for like the better part of a week before it fell to the ground. I dropped this, or I like let this balloon fly yesterday, and it's on the floor right now. Like, I was gypped.
Just like discount sushi, it's discount helium.
Yeah. What is going on in the economy? In this economy? You're selling me mixed helium?
That's the real pandemic.
Dumbledore said, Brett, you said you like retro games. Ever tried Wasteland? It's a game from '89, which basically created the Fallout universe as a spin-off. That's all.
Most of the stuff I play is like older Sega and older Nintendo. Streets of Rage was really good. I played that again recently on like an emulator. I need to get I was like at one point, like all my systems are still back in Minnesota and my dad's in Florida for the winter. I almost bought like an old Sega just like off eBay and just like, I don't need to do this. That's a waste of money. I can't afford this right now. So.
I realized that I'm like really bad at playing video games.
I just don't have
really bad.
Like my big problem with most things these days is like when I did drugs, my attention span was a lot more razor sharp. Now, like even like if you wanted to look at like my my streaming service queues, it's all like there's like 9,000 things in the watch tab, and they're all like just a couple episodes in because I watch a couple episodes and then like lose interest, go to something else, and I literally like shuffle through and come back. If I'm mentioning a show on like I mentioned Mortal Kombat Conquest a bunch this week because it's so bad it's good, that's because I managed to watch just that for a couple of days, which means I got through about 6 or 7 episodes, or 7 or 8 episodes over the time span of 3 days, whereas normally I would watch 8 different shows, 1 episode each of them throughout that period. So anytime I go on a tangent about a show I love, it's because it managed to bridge the gap between my old brain and my my like universally like tethered, like my brain is just ruined by ADHD. It means that it managed to bypass it for a short period of time.
Well, in a lot of video games, you have to sink so much time into them anyway. And
a lot of people label it by like put however many hours into this game, and I just. Yeah,
I don't have time for that. Yeah. I love a lot of video games, mostly normie games. Like I'm great at Mario Kart, but I will not spend a bunch of time on RPGs and stuff like that. It's just I'd rather be in the gym.
My problem is I just give up on things too easily if I'm bad at it.
Same.
Like I'm that's a horrible personality trait, but I get discouraged too easily, and I'm just like, no, this is boring. I'm not going to try. So, like, I tried to play Dark Souls yesterday and just failed miserably within the first, like, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore.
I got sat in front of Bloodborne and was told to try my hardest, and then had the exact same thing where I went through, like, 5 to 10 minutes and went, I'm just not going to do this. I'm not going to do this.
I think it's just maybe not meant for, like, the whammon brain, the amount of like hand-eye coordination. I don't have it in me.
Yeah.
I do, however, still play, like anytime I have my systems, I will play Tony Hawk Pro Skater till the end of I will beat the game every time I play.
Wait, is that like an Xbox One?
No, we're talking Nintendo 64.
Oh.
And I have like one of the rare copies of Tony Hawk 3, which came out just at the time as like they were discontinuing 64 games, so there was only like there was a smaller amount of them made. It was like one of those rare times where I spent money on something back at a time when I didn't have it to buy it, and then was bummed because I didn't really like it all that much because Tony Hawk 2 was so good.
Mr. Toad said, "You'll begin to find happiness and meaning when you identify yourself as what you actually are."
Is he speaking to all of us? Do you think that's true? Like, I don't want to identify myself. I don't want to label myself.
Well, no, I think what he's saying is that when you are not trying to push yourself into an identity, and when you're being authentic, you will find more happiness and meaning. I can attest to that. I mean, when I was in like high school and stuff, I really tried to be very alternative and fit in with the Tumblr crowds and whatnot, and cut my hair off really short. It was bright green, but I'm so much happier.
I would love to see pictures.
Oh, I've got plenty. I'm much happier being myself now.
Did you feel like you were faking at the time though, or would you have said like, no, this is like, I enjoy this?
Well,
This is how I wanna look.
I probably thought it was authentic at the time, but it was really just me trying to rebel and trying to fit in with the crowd.
Okay.
The number one thing about being here for me is I realize that I don't fit in literally anywhere. Like, I look at all group. I look at all.
I'm a weirdo.
I look at all.
Weird. I'm a weirdo.
I look at all groups and don't want.
I don't want to be normal.
Kind of, yeah.
You're literally.
Like, I abhor the idea of.
You're literally Jughead.
Of groupthink in that context. Like, that's become more apparent in like the last couple of months, right? It's like everybody's part of some group. And they're just looking for where they fit in, and it's like,
Well, I don't think either of you guys fit into one group in particular.
It goes back to the label argument. Like, everyone wants to be like. I don't even like when people talk about like right and left, Democrat and Republican, this and that. Like, it's just stupid, and it kind of destroys the individuality of it, right? It destroys you as an individual, as a person. So.
Caper2X said, Netflix is making a Gears of War live-action movie. Any thoughts? Brie Larson, Ryan Marvel, Leroy Jenkins.
If they put Leroy Jenkins, if they put Brie Larson in it, that would be funny. She's gonna end up being one of those things where, like, I think maybe I'm just burnt out on culture war stuff right now. But like, I feel like if that trailer for Fast X. See, I've just settled on Fast X. If that trailer had come out last year, that line with her and Letty and that fight at the end would have been way more annoying. But today I'm just like, whatever. It's Brie Larson. Who cares? Like, as long as she's not awful in the movie and saying that I don't understand the movie. What was it called? Wrinkle in Time. As long as she's not talking about a wrinkle in time in the movie, I don't really care. Like, I'm just over it. I'm over, like, I'm not going to also judge her based on her personality, because half our job here is to separate art from artists. So as long as the feminism in the movie isn't too bad, I just don't really care. So.
Dumbledore said, Brett, you can buy a unit which has 3 slots. It accepts Sega Genesis, original Nintendo, and SNES cartridges. Then get a cartridge with 200 games loaded.
Yeah, maybe like those are like a couple $100, right? I think those are like a couple $100. That might be something worth getting while I'm out here, like just like, or maybe just buying. I saw a thing the other day where like you can get like a duck hunt that you can put on your wall.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like it's like a weird like it looks like a blanket and it folds over your wall and you can play duck hunt on your wall. Like, that's kind of cool.
Love that.
Yeah.
Noah Frager said, since Brett is quoting TMNT, I must add that Donatello is the best Ninja Turtle, and I feel I must specify the original 80s film.
I mean, I still think, to me, Leonardo was always the best, but that's because you kind of just generically assume that he's the best because he's got swords, and swords are the coolest of the weapons. But as you grow older, the nerd take is supposed to be that Raphael is the best turtle because he has the most character growth out of all of them. The elitist nerd take would be like, look at how much character growth this kid's character has. He's so deep. Like, but it's, Donatello's a good one too because he's the tech guy. He would thrive in today's world because he's the tech guy.
Wars aren't really fought as much with hand-to-hand combat. I mean, you got people in the army and in the military who are fighting wars with Xbox controllers, disarming bombs with Xbox controllers.
Yep.
Mr. The Cool said, I'm playing Conan Exiles at the moment. It's a game set in the Conan world, and I'm building a castle right now.
Fun. That's good.
Fun.
Like, see, and it's Friday, so it's the weekend, so you can just hang out.
Brett, why don't you just get your dad to send you all of this stuff?
He's not home right now. He's out of state.
Oh, okay.
So he can't. So at a certain point, perhaps. And then one more there from Bryce E.
Oh. He said, your first mistake was playing a Souls-like game. They're made for masochists.
Yeah, they're like literally the hardest.
Are they?
Yeah, it's like the hardest style of game you can play.
So or they're just made for people who like don't give up on the first try, like I do. I mean, are they that hard?
They're very hard.
Yeah, they're no, like, talk to Dane about it.
games.
They're literally talked about as like the hardest games you can play.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just checking that I'm not an idiot. Evan King said, Ben Stiller brought Zoolander back for the Super Bowl Pepsi commercial. Should there be a third movie or a Tropic Thunder 2?
Dude, if they did, maybe we could defeat racism and Idris Elba wouldn't have to virtue signal if we just got Robert Downey Jr. back for Tropic Thunder 2.
Talk about memory holing things.
No, people still try. Every couple of years it gets brought up, and then he just doesn't apologize, and he's like, people love it. Like Jamie Foxx comes out and says, no, that ruled, and then like they forget about it the next day because he's just and it's funny because he's tried to like get people to forgive Mel Gibson the way he's been forgiven for the things I mean, I don't consider him making that role a thing he needs to be forgiven for, but certain people do. People that have low IQs believe that you have to be forgiven for doing a movie role like that. But you know, he had his problems with drugs. He went to jail and Hollywood forgave him, and it seemed like he did that interview and then he did this speech at like an award show where he asked people to forgive Mel Gibson. They just never do. So it is what it is.
Also, TikTok brought Zoolander back, not Ben Stiller, right?
I mean,
the TikTok trend brought Zoolander back into the public consciousness.
I think he's just saying that he brought it back like in a new iteration for the commercial.
Yeah.
Like we have a thing for like what we call like people in California, especially.
Yeah.
Like in skating, there's two ways you can do it. So a lot of people are like they can spin left and right, but they can only use one dominant foot. In California, what's common is you can only spin one direction, but you use both feet. It's called Zoolandering because in Zoolander you can only turn left.
Okay.
Yes.
We got another super chat from Waffle Sensei. He said, Andrea, your breakfast choices are based. Finally, someone with some actual taste.
Look!
I have to ask, do you like chaffles?
Oh, I'm
What
sorry.
the hell
what
is a
the
chaffle?
It's a waffle that's like made of cheese somehow.
Oh, no. When I say protein waffle, I mean like I use protein powder. Like
Okay.
I'm not making savory waffles over here because I'm not nuts.
Well, it's like a keto waffle, like that's literally made of cheese. And
That sounds disgusting.
It's not supposed to seem like cheese, but it's made of cheese.
Well, then it's just going to taste like cheese. And if I want cheese,
I don't know. I've never had
cheese.
one myself, so I can't speak
That
on
sounds horrible.
It does.
That sounds horrible.
I think a lot of keto food is just people eating things that are genuinely not good tasting, but they think that it's healthy, and so they will write it off as good.
Yeah.
Food virtue signaling.
It is.
It's food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of those things. I admit to being a bit snarky with people when they talk about healthy eating because I eat like a slob. So I like to I push back on it. I'm like, oh, good for you with your healthy eating options. Arf, arf, arf. Yeah, like
I think keto is just as diluted as vegan.
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Chaffle.
If you're keto or
I assumed a
vegan out
chaffle
there.
would be a chocolate waffle.
Someone said chaffles rule.
I thought you were trying to say
Cold
like a
take.
croissant waffle, like how they do.
No.
Yeah.
Do you
That sounds
agree
good,
that
though.
charcuterie boards are just Lunchables for adults?
Yes, and I support
And
it.
I like them.
Yes, and I support Lunchables for adults too. If you really want to
If
eat
you like
it.
Lunchables.
I miss taco Lunchables.
People need to start eating Lunchables again because we've like lost an idea of portion control in this country.
Taco
This is true.
taco Lunchables were amazing.
I never had those.
I'm only familiar with like the nacho ones.
No.
You're telling me they had tacos?
Yep, it was like meat paste. It was just it sounds disgusting, but when you're like 2 years old, when you're like 12 years old, it's a delicacy.
Sheets came out with tacos.
Ooh.
But you can't customize them at all. it just says tacos. It doesn't say.
And that's it.
It doesn't say if it has meat. It doesn't say what's on it. It doesn't say anything.
I like the idea that it says tacos and then just puts a period at the end. The period symbolizes that you can't do anything about it. Like, you have no choice. You have no choice in the matter.
Just like the rest of Sheets, it's like, you're effed up for eating this. That's our selling point.
Now I want a Lunchable. What Lunchable did you guys like? Gosh. Cracker Lunchables?
I
pizza
ate those.
Lunchables.
I ate the pizza ones. The dessert pizza was rank.
Yeah, I was mostly the nacho Lunchable girl.
Okay.
I don't know why that fake chicken nugget
one.
Dude, if you have a chance, in fact, you know what? Before we go off air, I might see if I can find this. Did you ever hear the Lunchables rap song?
What?
No.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, but are we gonna get copyright?
No,
claims?
it's an old commercial. I think I got it here.
Someone said Mary doesn't know how to hold a taco.
Here we go.
Why would you say this? You've never seen me eat a taco.
Here we go. Let me see if the volume is good. This was from a 90s commercial that this is banned. I don't know if it was supposed to be satire or real. I just wish this had gotten released.
It's motherfucking Lunchables, nigga. $5 a pack. We gon' make the ass clap with this hell.
What? They went all out.
Give me that Capri Sun, bitch. I'm thirsty. Fuck sharing, I'ma eat the whole thing. It's good for my health, cause it's made with whole grain. Cheese in between two crack. Cheese in between two crack. Cheese in between two crack. Wash it down with Capri Sun. I grind my crackers in the shake, then I smoke them. Feed my bitches Lunchables before I poke.
I think the only thing that measures up to this is the Reese's Cups.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck you know about Snickers bite size? Cheese in between two crack.
No?
How did I not know about this?
Exactly. Am I right?
That wasn't a real commercial.
It has to be a real commercial. It needs to be real. If it's not, my childhood was a lie. It's incredible, right? So.
The MF Nate Dogg TMI, bro.
Yeah. It could have been college. Somebody says was it college humor? I don't remember. If it was, that makes more sense. But it's better if it was a real commercial and they just realized that they couldn't release it.
Someone said, was that R. Kelly? Oh, what's become of him now?
Yes.
Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, that's it. I'm coming up there to cook for you.
No.
Your standards are so low.
My standards are so low.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that. That's okay.
We're all caught up on
I respect it. I respect it. I'm a food snob, and I respect when people are not picky about food.
I'm not. Well, I mean, actually, it's the opposite. I am picky. I'm extremely picky for things that are unhealthy.
Yeah. So as a food snob, I think it's great if someone wants to be unhealthy with their food choices, which is to the total opposite take. And I'm willing to die on that hill. It's good. Enjoy your junk food. Please do.
For me, it's I enjoy it while you can, because eventually I won't be able to. But also, I skate a lot. I get a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
So it's it evens out. Probably would help with work and stuff if I ate healthier brain food, but I don't. So, and I can't say no to bread. I love bread.
Yeah.
Can't say no to bread.
Hey, bread can be healthy.
All right. Andrea, thank you.
Thank you.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yes, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. It is at Andrea J. Mew, and there's nothing in between those. No dots, no underscores.
Can they put dots in there?
You could put dots. I really just wanted Andrea Mew as the username, but we're not, Elon's not letting go of old accounts, so I can't have that. But then you can also find my articles at evmagazine.com.
And you got some good ones coming out soon?
Yeah, I've got a lot coming out all the time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mary, where can they find you?
You can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can also send me some hate on Twitter over the weekend. That's also Mary Archived. And once again, thank you guys for being here for the 300th episode. That was a crazy day, and it's been a fun week, actually.
Yes. All right, guys, before we go, hit the like button. Help us in the algorithm.
Defenestrate it.
That's a good word. It's a good word. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. That would help us greatly. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, I'm going to do it backwards today. On Twitter, at @popculture_show. Facebook and TikTok, at @popculturecrisis. On Instagram, at @popculturecrisisPod. If you'd like to follow me, I'm on Twitter and Facebook, at Brett Dasovic. And for the show, we are here here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen rather than watch, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And Mary, there is one more super chat there.
KMF Opposer said, Brett, have you seen the Liquid Slam commercial? If you haven't, look it up. I bet you'll like it.
I haven't, but I will now check it out after this. Maybe we'll look at it on Monday. So somebody up there in the comments earlier said low IQ entertainment and humor. I said yes, and it's funny, and there's
it's
nothing
great.
wrong. Exactly, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Nothing
All right, guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.